Hello, we are live again, and we have a pretty great show lined up tonight. We're going to move pretty quick through it because there's going to be a lot of reading that we're going to do. So we're going to go as quickly through it as we can. I want you guys to understand everything, and hear everything, but we're gonna rip through all this reading pretty quick. And we'll answer questions if there's questions in the chat, or if you want to wait till the end, we're going to show a little bit of a video clip at the end. And if you want to, save your comments or questions until then, that will be great too, because we'll have a bigger discussion at the end. Excuse me. So we're going to do the second part of Regina Copeland, and it's going to be pretty much all transcript stuff. So I think it'll be interesting for you. Since I see them here, we're going to say hello to Sharon and to Nan's Life. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. And one quick note, we are up to 384 subscribers, which is just a little bit more, it seems like, every day. So I'm excited. Yeah, pretty excited. So what we're going to start with is a couple of pages that we're going to read from the preliminary hearing in Regina Copeland's case. So let me get that added. Okay. All right. So we're going to start. Alice is going to read the part of G.Gieger, who is the prosecutor. And for now, I'm going to read the parts of Regina Copeland. So we will get started with Alice if you're ready to go. Can you see it?
Yeah, I'm talking away and I'm bloody muted.
You're muted, of course you are. Okay, cool. All right, just start there with the green arrow.
Okay. Did he ask you any questions about what you'd been doing or anything like that?
He said, I smell like I had alcohol on me, and
what did you say to him?
I told him I didn't want to go to jail.
Okay, so if I understand it right, at this point.
And he said he wasn't going to take me to jail. He would take me to detox.
Okay, at this point, are you standing outside the car?
Yes, right by my door.
Okay, and you've had this conversation about drinking, and then he said, I'm not going to go, you're not going to go to jail, you're going to go to detox.
Yes, and then after that, after he looked into my car, he told me to pull my pants down. And at this time, I was thinking that he was going to search me, but I wondered why he didn't call for a woman police officer, a backup to help him search me to see if I had anything on me. Because I know that police officers can search you, but I didn't think he had a right to search me.
In your experience, had you been searched before by a police officer?
Yes.
Whenever that had happened, had they always asked for a female officer to come do it? Is that why you thought that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so when he said, I want you to pull your pants down, you still thought it was part of the search, but you thought it was unusual because?
It was a male officer by himself. He was alone.
Did you comply with his request and pull your pants down?
Yes, I did.
Were you wearing underwear underneath it?
Yes.
Okay. Did your underwear stay up?
Yes, I pulled them down.
Okay. What kind of pants were you wearing, if you remember?
I can't remember what kind of clothing I had on.
All right. But you do remember pulling your pants down.
Yes, sir.
How far down did you pull them, ma'am?
Down where he could look to see if I didn't have, and he made a remark, said it was fat down there. That's what.
I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. You did a motion whenever you were describing how far,
Yeah, like down.
and you're motioning right above your knees, is that right?
My knees, yes.
Let's stop just 1 second. Ma'am, you and Mr. G.Gieger are getting into a conversation
Okay.
Okay.
where you're talking over each other, and my court reporter can't write everything down if you two are talking at once. So I'm going to ask you and Mr. G.Gieger both to just talk one at a time. Let's let him ask a question and you wait and listen to his whole question.
Okay.
And then when he's done with his question, then I'm going to listen to your whole answer, and you're going to try to answer just what he asks and nothing more, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. G.Gieger, I apologize for interrupting. Sir, please continue.
Ma'am, it was just right above your knees?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said he said something to you. Tell me what he said again.
He said it was fat down there. I don't know what he was talking about, but he made that statement.
Okay. Did you take it as an insult, or did I know sometimes people say fat like PHAT, like it's something they like? Did you take it either way?
Either way was disrespectful to me.
Okay. When he said that, what did you do?
I didn't, I just was trying to do what he asked of me to do.
Did you want to go to detox?
No.
Did you talk to him some more about, did your pants come back up? Did you pull your pants back up after that, or did they stay down?
They stayed, I pulled them back up.
Pulled them back up. Did you have more conversations with him about going to detox and how you didn't want to go to detox after that?
Yes.
Tell me about those, please.
He told me that he was going to take me to detox, and I said, well, what am I going to do with my vehicle? I don't want to leave my vehicle in this area. They're going to tow it. And he said, no, they're not going to tow your vehicle. In the police report, she had said that she didn't want to leave it because it would get broken into. And she said that the officer told her no one would break into her car. And she said, yes, they will.
Were you afraid because of the area you were in? You didn't want to leave your car unattended?
Yeah.
Is it a bad part of town?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead. What did he say next, if anything, or what did you say next?
I asked him, could I take my car to my relative's house?
Okay, what did he say?
He said yes.
Okay. And did he allow you then to drive your car to a relative's house?
Yes.
About how far away was that? And I know you're just, give me an approximation.
It's a mile or two, mile and a half, maybe a mile and a half or two.
So I want to make sure I understand, Miss Copeland. So he stopped you and he indicated that you're under the influence, and going to go to detox, but then he lets you drive a mile or two to your relative's house?
Right.
Okay. Did you think anything about that?
I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know what.
Okay. Did you go to your relative's house?
Yes, I didn't go inside.
Okay. About where is that house, if you remember?
It's 3 houses from off of 25th. It's where the school buses are.
Where the school buses are?
Uh-huh.
Can I approach the witness, Your Honour?
You may.
Judge, we are at number 8-7.
Your next exhibit will be number 8, Mr. Gieger.
Thank you, Judge. Miss Copeland, I'm going to show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit number 8. Is that an overhead photo of the bus area?
Yes.
And I believe this is 24th Street. Do you see from looking down, what you believe to be your relative's house?
Right here, indicating.
Okay. And you pointed there, you pointed 3 from the corner on the south, or on the bottom side of this photograph, you can see a white house with a grey roof. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that generally the way that the area appears? Obviously, you weren't at this position, but is that accurate from your memory?
Yes.
Offer states 8.
No objection, Your Honor.
States 8 is admitted without objection.
I may let you get orientated for just a minute, and then I'm going to ask her some more questions.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Your Honor, the house, I don't know if you saw the house she pointed at.
I did not.
It was this house right there, indicating the white one with the grey roof.
Okay.
Ma'am, so you went, if I understand it, to this house, white house, and did you park in the driveway there, or where did you park?
I parked on the side of the street in front of the house on the street.
Do you know where the officer was at this point?
He was right. He came behind me and he came on the side of my car.
Okay.
And I got out.
And then you got in the car with him. Did you get in his car?
I got in the patrol car, police car.
Where in the patrol car or the police car did you sit?
In the back.
And he was in the front driving, obviously?
Right.
And ma'am, on this map, can you show me where he went next with you? Where he took you on this photograph? This is the house.
Right here by the buses. By the buses around here by this tree on the side of this house.
So he just went round the corner?
Yes, and parked. He parked on this street. I can't say exactly because it was dark. I know it was this street.
Okay. And ma'am, I don't know that I asked you, but the time of day that this happened, was it dark outside?
It was dark.
And this bus lot area, is that a dark place?
Yes, it is.
And you're somewhere right beside this house, across from the buses?
Near that house.
And across from the buses?
Across from the buses.
Did he stop there, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened when he stopped there?
When he stopped there, he opened his car door. He came opened the back police, the door where I was sitting in the back. He told me to get out. I got out. He told me to face inside the car to pull my pants down again. I pulled my pants down.
Did you want to do that, ma'am?
No,
Why did you do that?
because he was an officer and I was scared and I know that he could hurt me. So I did what he said.
Ma'am, when you stepped out of the car, did he open the door for you to get out?
Yes,
Are you standing just right there in the spot where the door is open, or have you moved away from the car?
I was like my feet were outside the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was bent over, and that's when he started to have sex with me from the back. He put his penis in me from the back.
So, at his direction, you bent over and then you put the top half of your body on the back seat, the passenger in the back of the car.
Yes,
Your feet were still on the ground,
yes,
and your pants were down around your knees, I'm assuming.
your ankles.
Ankles. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, and he had given me back my driver's license. Let me read that again, sorry. Yes, and he had given me back my driver's license.
Yes, ma'am.
But when I got back into my car, my driver's license were gone and I had to walk, had to get new driver's license, and my apartment key was gone.
And you think you lost it sometime during this encounter?
Yes, and I went to the realtor and they gave me another key.
Okay. I want to ask you one more thing, or maybe a couple of more things about what happened while you were standing outside the car and bent over in the car. You said he had sex with you. Did his penis actually go into your vagina, ma'am?
Yes,
Okay. About how long did that last?
for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. Do you know if he ejaculated or not?
Yes,
You believe he did?
yes, I believe he did. I believe he did.
After that came to an end, what did he do, or what did you say, or what did he say? Tell me what happened.
He let me pull up my pants. He let me go and he pulled off. I went back to my car and
Do you recall if he said anything to you, ma'am?
I can't recall.
Okay. Did he just leave you there standing at the location and he drove away?
Yes. Okay. That was the preliminary.
I only have one comment. Damn.
Yeah, right. And Susan is here. Yay! Hey, Susan.
Sister
how's it going?
Susan. Woohoo.
Can you hear us? You're muted.
And
Hello?
Can you hear now?
Yes.
there she is.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, God, I am so sorry. You got me?
Okay. Yeah.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello.
Hi. We can
Hello.
hear you.
Okay. Hi, I was on a phone call and I just lost track of time. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I understand. I have to put this on there real quick. Thanks, Case. Hi, everyone. This podcast is fat. Yeah, it is.
Ah, that all right.
He is just
He's got a
He's on-
minute, doesn't he?
he does. He's on it.
Okay. All right, Susan. So do you
Who
want
were you
to
just reading?
we just read the preliminary, the first one. So we're getting ready to read the next one. Are you going to read from the screen, or do you have yours that you're going to read from your own on your computer? Susan.
I'm going to open it right now.
Okay,
Which one is it?
We have to change the order because Rhonda made a mistake. If you
The
look in the
order's in the
private
comments.
Okay.
Yeah, look in the private chat, and Kay was
Yeah,
very
I see all the links.
no links. No, wait, what links?
In Discord.
All the links you sent me.
Oh yeah. But I put them. I numbered them incorrectly. So
Okay.
if you look in the private chat, the order in which we're going to read them is up there. Kay put them up there. So we're going to do 3 first. Or now.
3.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay,
so
and that's
Susan-
where D.H. Carr was?
Yeah, sure. Let me see. Yep, that's it.
Okay. Yes, Kay. Sorry.
What is
So we
happening?
were just reading Pre-Lim, G.Gieger's direct examination of Regina Copeland. And so is this K.Davis
Okay.
now, Rhonda?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Who's reading now?
Now it will be this. Oh, I'm sorry. I was so prepared. Okay, we're going to start where the green arrow is. This is going to be G.Gieger and Regina. So this is oh, I guess I should be sharing that screen, huh? I was like, why is my screen black on StreamYard? I'm not sharing it. Duh. Let me get that. I can only put in one at a time, so. Okay, there we go. This will be G.Gieger and Regina. So now we're in the trial. So now we're going to start reading transcripts from the trial of some pretty significant moments. Jack, I hate you.
I warned you. I did want.
I'm not looking in there anymore. I don't have time for this.
But thought I'll DM your ass. That's okay. I know where you live.
Yeah. Gosh. Oh, thank you to everybody else who's joined the chat. We're going to go ahead and start. I've tried to put arrows where we're going to start and end because I know that otherwise we're just going to waste time reading stuff that we're not going to complete the topic. So that's what I'm doing. There's probably going to be some objections and court stuff in here too, Jack and Kay. So Gieger and Regina. Hit it.
Okay, so this is Jack and Kay.
No, this is you as Regina and Alice as Gieger.
Okay.
So you're at a stop sign.
I'm at a stop sign.
Tell me what happens.
Just like when the police stops you, he turns on those flashing lights, and I pulled over. And I asked him what happened, what I did. He said that I did a rolling stop. I came to a rolling stop. Like, you don't do a complete stop.
Okay.
So he asked me for my driver's license, and I gave it to him, and he went back to his car. He came back and he asked me to step out of the car, and he searched my car. He didn't find anything, but he said he smelled alcohol. So he said he was going to take me to detox.
He told you he smelled alcohol.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So he said he was going to take me to detox.
Did you respond?
Yes. He said that I would have to leave my car there, and he was going to take me to detox. And I said, please, officer, don't. I don't want to leave my car here. It's in a bad area. Someone will break into my car. And he let me. I told him I could take my car to a relative's house that was close in the area. He let me take my car to my relative's house.
Ma'am, before he did that, did he search you in any way?
Yes, he searched me.
Okay. Where did that happen? Did that happen
At where I was on 15th and Kate, in between Kellum. After he searched my car and I stepped out of the car, he didn't find anything. He told me to pull my pants down.
Can you tell me a little bit about, first of all, what kind of pants were you wearing, if you recall?
All I know is they were pants. I can't remember what color.
Okay, and so
I asked him, was he supposed to do that?
had he pat searched you in any way or do any of that thing, or did he just say, pull your pants down?
He just told me to pull my pants down.
And your response was what?
Am I supposed to do? Are you supposed to do that? You know, because I thought that a woman officer should have been there
Did you say
if he was going to search me.
that part to him? Did you say, I thought a woman officer is supposed to do, or did you?
I just asked him, was he supposed to do that?
But you were thinking because a woman's supposed to do that?
Right.
All right, ma'am. Where were you in relation to your car and the police car whenever he instructed you to do that?
I was standing in front of my drivers on two drivers' side.
Had he parked behind you?
And he was in front of me. His car was in front of me.
His car was in front of you.
Uh-huh.
What? That's
All right.
Because that's how it works.
On two
like-
drivers' side.
Starsky
hell
and
does that mean?
Hutch
Starts
rolling up on the scene, pull in front of the car, cut her off,
run
make her
off in
get
the-
out and pull her pants down.
Right, run her off in the ditch. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, parked in
God.
front of me, and he was in front of me. Okay,
Yeah.
in front.
Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, and so that's just a kind of a taste of some of the inconsistencies that you're going to hear as we go along. So, hey, Disco Pervert is here. Welcome.
Hey, Disco.
Drax. Nice to see you
Hi,
guys.
Disco.
Hey, Disco. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, I want all of you guys that don't know very much about Daniel's case. Yeah, get caught up and let's get talking about this case too, because we don't have enough going on with the Avery case.
Right.
So, okay, this is more G.Gieger and Copeland. So,
let's see.
just another bit of another part of the topic, and this is only a few pages as well.
What number is it?
2.
Oh, sorry, this is 2. I can't remember what it's called. He pulled up beside my car. We kind of read this, but
Hold up.
and while Susan's pulling that up, I want to say thank you to Cherie. She's not going to be here for a little while. She had a meeting tonight at work, but she's the one who got all of these points together for us to read and gave all the suggestions of where to read and all the inconsistencies. And I will tell you, that is a lot of work to do that by yourself.
It is. It is. And, I'm thinking, while she's at work, she could have just went ahead and opened up StreamYard and they could have helped too. I mean,
Yeah, no kidding. Well, she's at a meeting, so I don't think they would really appreciate that.
probably not. Okay. Yeah, okay.
So, all right, whenever you guys are ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Well, why didn't you want to leave your car there, ma'am?
Because it was on that street. It's a crack house there, and it's people walking up and down there drunk.
You were afraid your car wouldn't be safe.
Right.
So you're asking him, I don't want to leave my car there. Let me take my car home?
Uh-huh.
And then what happens?
He agreed to let me take my car to my relative's house, which was in that area, not too far. Like half a block.
Had you told him you have a relative that's in the area, or?
Yeah.
So that conversation had occurred as well?
Yes. I didn't have any clue what was going to happen next.
What's the location of your relative's house, ma'am?
On 23rd, 22nd off of Miramar.
In that area? About how far away from where you were was your relative's house?
It's either half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile.
Had you told him the address, or had you told him how far it was? Or tell me what you remember.
I just told him it wasn't. I remember what I can't remember exactly what I told him, but I told him it's in that area. It's not far.
Other than what you've told me up to this point, is that essentially the conversation that you had at that location, or is there anything else that you can remember that happened at that location?
I can't remember anything else.
At some point, ma'am, did he let you drive your car?
Yes.
Okay. What did he do?
He followed me.
So he drove his car as well?
Uh-huh.
And where did you go?
I went to 22nd off of 23rd.
Then
Sorry.
I have to mute myself.
the 23rd, 22nd, and Miramar area?
Yes.
All right. And he followed you to that? And how did you know he was following you?
Looking in my rear view.
You were looking behind?
Uh-huh.
When you got to that area, what did you do?
Parked my car in front of my relative's house. I didn't go inside. He pulled beside my car, and I got out of my car. He got out of the police car and told me to get in the back seat, and I got in the back seat.
All right, ma'am. I'm going to approach, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, he's muted.
You may approach.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Ma'am, do you recognize what's depicted in states number 249 and 250?
Yes.
What is that?
This is the house where I parked my car.
Is this your relative's house?
Yes.
Okay, and is that the way you remember it looking back
Yeah.
in that period? In that time period?
Uh-huh.
I'd offer states 249 and 250.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. States exhibit number 249 and 250 will be admitted.
Ma'am, this is the house that you parked your car in front of, correct?
Yes.
So
So she's
know
under
that-
the influence. So she's under the influence, and he says, "Well, yeah, you go ahead and drive your car. It's fine."
Yeah,
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she claims.
Jesus
But
Christ.
not only that, just there she says that he pulled up beside her car. Before that, she says he was in front of her car. So what is it? He was at the side of her car, he was at the front of the car, he was behind the car.
At the
Well,
first stop.
Yeah,
He-
that was
he's
at the
saying
first
he-
stop. Yeah, go ahead, Kay. Sorry.
Yeah, at the first stop where he pulled her over for the rolling stop, that's where she says that when he pulled her over, he pulled his car in front of her car. And
Right.
then she saying that then he follows her to her cousin's house or whatever, relative's house. And that he was behind her, which we know that the GPS AVL records we know from last week show that he wasn't on that street behind her. But Gieger's not asking anything about that.
Yeah, they're going to stay as far away from that as they can.
10-foot pole.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But it's going to get real interesting when it's K.Davis's turn. So it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Gieger.
Were your feet on the ground outside the car?
I think so.
Okay. And as you're bent over, are you leaning on the door? Are you leaning on the seat?
The seat.
Are you leaning on the back of the car?
The seat.
The seat. So you're actually sort of inside the car, but your feet are outside?
Yeah.
And he's behind you?
Right.
Ma'am, again, I don't ask this to embarrass you, but did his penis actually go into your vagina?
Yes.
Did you see his penis?
No, but I know how it was. I didn't see it, but I felt it.
Could you feel anything else other than his penis?
No.
Do you have an approximation as to how long that event went on?
Maybe about 3 minutes or so.
Not very long.
Not very long.
Do you know why it stopped?
Well, because he finished what he was doing.
It is in your memory that he ejaculated, or you believe he ejaculated?
I believe he did.
Why do you think he ejaculated, ma'am?
Because after he stopped, he told me to pull my clothes back up.
Did you?
Yes.
What happened next?
Well, once I pulled my clothes back up and everything, and he got back into the car and pulled off and just left me there.
In that same location?
Yes.
About how far away from your car were you? Well, I'm sorry. What did you do after he left you there?
I walked back to my car.
Okay, and about how far away was it?
It was like around the corner.
Okay, and so I'm not trying to be confusing, and I may have. A few minutes ago, whenever you told me that you got in the police car and you drove to where the buses were,
Uh-huh.
you said it seemed like it was about 10 minutes. Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember saying that.
Okay.
Are you talking about me saying that? That it was about 10 minutes?
Oh my God. Just a minute ago.
Yeah, to get there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
Okay.
To drive over there from the other location. Now that's what he's trying to get her to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now whenever he leaves you at that location and you walk back to your car, your memory is it's just around the corner. Do you understand my question?
Yes, but from Kellam to
Okay, and that's
that area, that's about 10 minutes. But from where I parked my car to my relative's house, that's about 5 minutes.
3 houses. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
5 minutes.
I mean, shooty, shoot.
it's much shorter.
I was driving.
Okay.
I'm walking now. I'm walking to my car. I'm not driving.
Jesus Christ.
You know,
man.
it's really difficult when somebody is doing a big fibberino. They can't keep it straight.
Yeah.
If it's the truth, it wouldn't have been none of that. None of this horse crap that we just read. It wouldn't have been none of that. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
I think she's a blackout drinker sometimes too. So, you know,
And if she was also high on something as well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
you know, it's just ridiculous the amount of inconsistencies. It was 5 minutes, it was 3 minutes, it was 10 minutes, you know, and then a mile away, 2 miles away, 3/4 of a mile away.
Well, yeah, in the prelim, she said that he went on for 5-10 minutes or so, and then now it's 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a considerable amount of difference,
Well, that
Anyway,
Well, because
Yeah.
of the timestamps on the clock, right?
Yeah.
as
Well, I
all-
mean,
go ahead.
if he's only a 3-minute wonder, his girlfriend must not have been fucking satisfied very much. Oh, sorry, excuse my friend.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Can you imagine walking 3 houses and it taking 5 minutes? I mean, it seriously is 3 houses away. It took her 5 minutes to walk
No.
back to her car.
No, that's
3 hou-
15
I mean, that'd
seconds.
be painful if you tried to
Yeah.
recreate that and walk the distance of 3 houses in 5 minutes. I mean, and these lots are like, I don't even know if they're 50 foot of frontage.
Right.
They're
Well,
pretty
and if
close
you
together.
And if you remember from the pictures that we showed last week, it's just literally around the corner. So, and
Yeah.
and across the street, but yeah, not 5 minutes,
No, definitely not.
2 or 3 tops.
They
But,
probably
yeah.
are 50 foot of frontage. So it's basically 150 feet that she
Yeah.
walks in 5 minutes to
Yeah.
her imaginary car.
Exactly.
But what I missed in this
Probably
one
less
is
than a minute.
she forgot to say when he gave her driver's license back. She skipped that part altogether in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping around. I can't remember for sure if we'll get to it in this one, but we might.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure. I think we get to go on a little bit longer in this one, possibly. But yeah, but it'll come up again anyway. So
Okay, here we go.
Okay. And I apologize. I may have gotten confused. The 10 minutes you remember is from the initial traffic stop all the way to where your relatives live.
Yeah, I was driving.
I may have asked a bad question, and I apologize if I did.
Okay.
But in any event, whenever the assault was over,
Uh-huh.
it was just around the corner
Right.
and you could just walk.
Right. To my car.
It didn't take you long to get to your car.
No.
Just around the corner is your memory.
Right.
All right. Did you go in and, well, I'm sorry. Let me just ask what you walked to your car. He has driven off at this point, is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember if he saw you again?
Never seen him again.
What did you do after you got to your car?
I went to my friend's house.
You didn't go into your relative's house?
No, I didn't go into that house.
Why?
Well, I didn't want them to know what happened.
Why?
I was ashamed. One thing that I was ashamed that was that I was alcoholic. I was ashamed that I was drinking and that I was using drugs, and my self-esteem was low.
You didn't want them to know?
I just didn't want them to know.
Where'd you go?
Northeast, 10th and Lottie.
And why did you go to that area?
It's a place where I go drink.
Eventually, ma'am, did you
I think
tell
we're done.
anybody?
Or no?
All right.
Yeah, that's done. Sorry. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so when we play this little video clip later, all of that's going to completely change. So so I guess I lied, Kay. It might be in this next part. I know that we're coming up on some pages that are going to be pretty yeah, this one's 35 pages, so we'll get into a lot more detail here.
Liar.
So yeah. So yeah, that's just a little bit more information. But I believe that like I said, I believe that we get to get a lot more information here. And
So many inconsistencies.
oh, yeah, well, it gets worse, believe it or
I'm
not.
sure. No, I believe it.
Yeah, so all right, so looks like we're okay. I don't see any major questions or comments in chat. So yeah, I want to say hi to Liam. He's popped in. JD, hey, how's it going? I'm so glad you're here. And Colette, welcome, and thank you for being here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start on line 4, where the green arrow is. See how
Which
prepared I am, you
one is
guys.
this? Is this
Oh, I'm
Scott Adams?
sorry. It's 5A.
Ross?
No, not yet. It's 5A.
Oh, 5A. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this still her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is G.Gieger on direct with her.
With
Davis.
with Kim Davis. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Are you
cool with Kim Davis?
Too?
Okay.
Yeah. Are you fine to do that too, Susan?
Kim Davis?
Yeah.
Wink Winkle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
You bet.
Okay. Have fun.
All right, ma'am. In regards to the location at 24th and Miramar, during the course of your investigation, did you have an opportunity to go out to that location?
I did.
And what was the purpose of going there?
Well, I do better a lot of times if I can see something that I'm investigating. And I also wanted to take pictures.
There's been some photographs already introduced. Exhibits numbers 249, 250, 258, and 259. Are those the photographs that you took?
Yes.
All right. And 249. Why did you take that photograph?
That's the picture of the house that Regina said her relative lived in.
And the address is 2416
Yes.
on that house. There's these other two photographs, 258 and 259. Were you present when those photographs were taken as well?
I want you guys to imagine me blinking. Yes.
Oh my God.
Hey, I want to know. I want to know who showed her how to use a damn camera. It's electronic, so
Right?
I can text and I can call.
I'm not very techno.
That's how it is.
I'm not very techno. Ah,
Techno.
Oh, Susan, you're too much.
what a dumb shit.
Not you, Susan.
God.
Kim Davis.
No, not you, Susan.
and Susan's sitting there she's just blinking her ass off. Her eyes are probably about to roll out of her head.
Your
Blink, blink,
character.
I
blink.
can't wait to get to penises and vaginas.
Did you put
Oh, shit.
snort?
How do you jack off? This is how I do it.
Oh my God. All right. Oh,
Sorry.
rail.
I'm sorry. I'll be good.
You won't.
I will.
She'll try.
Okay. Line 24.
God, Alice.
Alice has got the giggles.
See Susan sitting there blinking like mad.
Oh, shoot.
It's just a tick. It's just a tick I have.
It only ticks when you're lying, right?
Exactly.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you 251, 252, 253, 254, 255, 256, and 257, and ask you if you recognize what's depicted in these photographs, please.
Yes.
What are they?
Pictures of the area around the assault.
Around and including 24th and Miramar?
Yes.
Offer
No objection.
those, Your Honor.
All right. States exhibit number 251, 252, 253, 254, 255, 256, and 257 will be admitted.
Ma'am, 251, is that... Why did you take that?
Just to show the location and the intersection to where the event took place in close proximity.
Ma'am, can you orient the jury in states 254 in regards to that? Those street signs, which way were you looking and what is that?
Okay, we're looking north, and that is the street sign. Point for me. Or can I get down and show you?
Yeah. What's this road?
That's Miramar.
Okay, that's Miramar.
Yes.
Does Miramar run north to south?
Yes.
This street then would be...
24th.
All right. So this house that we're seeing depicted in 254 is a different house than is depicted in the other photographs. Is that right?
Well, you can see that. On the street sign photograph, you can see that house.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, detective. What I mean is the house depicted in the 254 is a different house than in 249?
Correct.
All right. In relation to the house on 254, which is on the corner to the house in 249. Do you know where in relation those two houses are to each other?
The one on the corner is on the north side of the road. The one right, that's on the north side. That one is on the south side of the road, and it's 3 houses west of Miramar.
Okay, so 3 houses in?
Right,
All right. 3rd house in.
right.
All right. States number 253. Is that the same house that's on the corner?
Yes, just a little bit different.
Just a little closer view?
Yes,
And 255. Still the same house, but is that right?
right. It shows the east side of the house, and you can see the fence of the bus barn.
Okay, and so my question is going to be, why did you take this? But is this the fence that we see in states number 259?
Yes,
All right. You don't see the buses parked there, but you see the fence?
right.
All right. And in fact, if I look at 259, ma'am, it appears that there's a building in the right-hand side of that photograph.
Yes,
Are those the buildings where I'm on stage 255 that are depicted in the other photographs as well?
yes.
All right. This is that just a close-up of the house that's on the corner showing street address?
Right,
Showing street address.
right.
The street address is 2425. I don't know if you can see that on there.
It's 2425.
Ma'am, states number 256. What is that a picture of?
That's 2425, but it's the east side of the house, and it's showing that the windows have coverings over them, and you can't see in them or out of them.
In the foreground of that picture, there's a road. What road is that?
Miramar.
Okay, so that's the north to south road that we saw in the other exhibits, but now you're actually standing in the road and looking straight west.
Correct.
And states number 257, is that the same house but another angle looking into the yard?
Yes,
Why did you take those photographs?
that's where the assault occurred.
You said a moment ago about coverage on the windows. Why did you note that?
Because Officer Holtzclaw pulled his car in that grassy area by the tree, and I wanted to see if he pulled his car there, if anybody in that house would have been able to see what was happening. Him putting his penis in her vagina and all.
And so that I think it is clear, but so that it's clear, that's what Miss Copeland had told you, is that he pulled into the grassy area,
Correct.
and that's why you were doing this?
Correct.
All right, ma'am. In regards to identifying the dates, certain that Miss Regina Copeland came in contact with Officer Holtzclaw, were you able to obtain both the Varuna run and also the CIU log showing that he had run her?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you 264 to 262 and 264. Ask you if you recognize those two documents.
Yes. It's the crime information log and the Varuna log.
And what's the date that's relevant on this?
4/25/2014.
Offer those two, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
States Exhibit number 264 and 262 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. In regards to 264, ma'am, this document is similar to the other ones we've seen, is it not?
Correct.
So 425 at 2047, is that 8:47
PM. Yes.
p.m.? Again, it's Officer Holtzclaw's badge number and showing that in the Varuna system he ran Regina Copeland. Is that right?
Correct.
States number 262. This is CIU log, is page 4 of the log. That was begun on April 25th of 2014.
Yes.
This would be log entries after 8:11 p.m. Is that right?
Correct.
And ma'am, if I look down to about halfway on the page, Charlie 45, is that Officer Holtzclaw's call?
Yes.
And then you have Regina Copeland, black female, date of birth. And apparently the dispatcher didn't find any warrants she wrote clear.
Yes. She was clear.
All right. Ma'am, based on this is the information that you would have received in your initial investigation as to determining whether or not you wanted to make contact with Miss Copeland, correct? This CIU log and the Varuna run?
Blink, blink, blink. No, that wasn't in my stack.
That wasn't in your stack.
Nope.
Okay, so this is different.
Right. My stack just has her Varuna printout and a picture of her, if we had a picture of her. I go and pull those, then try to figure out what date that this happened.
Okay, and fair enough, because the Varuna run is not actually what the Varuna run you were looking at. That's the typewritten document that we've had at least some exhibits into evidence.
Correct.
All right, so to do this one at a time, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. States 265. Is that the lineup?
Yes.
For April, the shift beginning April 25th.
Yes.
Offer 265.
No objection.
All right. States Exhibit 265 will be admitted.
And again, the contact with Miss Copeland approximately beginning based on the Varuna run was around 8:50 p.m., correct?
Correct.
So we're not talking midnight, we're talking the 25th, and that's the time the shift started.
Right.
And then if you look at the last line, 2 Charlie 45 appears to be on duty, and it's Officer Holtzclaw. Is that right?
Correct.
Ma'am, there's also 263. This is the Unit 800 of the CAD run. Is that right?
Right. It's not Unit 800. It's the CID.
My apologies. That's right. See, CAD run. I use them interchangeably. I didn't mean to. Does that correspond to the different traffic stop that Miss Copeland told you about, as well as Officer Holtzclaw's running Miss Copeland through CIU?
Yes.
And is that the document that was prepared from the database?
Yes.
Offer states 263.
No objection.
States Exhibit 263 will be admitted.
All right. So that's 263, correct?
Right.
All right. Go up to the top of it, April 25th, 8:39:07.
Correct.
The address of this and dispatch are initiated call, rather officer calling dispatch is 14th, Northeast 14th and Kellam. Is that correct?
Correct.
When you found this, were you relatively certain this matches up to what Miss Copeland was telling you about where it started?
Yes.
And it says traffic stop.
Correct.
Now, on the second page, it shows us that this stop was closed on April 25th at 21:15:32 and is the Vicinate mobile interface again. That's by an officer pushing the button in the car to close out the call.
Right.
So from 8:50 and 8:39:07, which is then it was closed at 9:15:32.
Correct.
Down at the bottom, it shows at 8:39:08. There is Officer Holtzclaw running a plate check. Is that right?
I believe he read the tag number to the dispatcher. The dispatcher automatically runs that and then it gets connected.
Runs the plate check?
Yes.
Excuse me. And thank you. That's the point I was trying to make, is we know this actually involves an automobile because he's running a tag.
Correct.
And then there's information contained on here about the vehicle registration and those types of things. And then a VIN number, that type of stuff that came back.
Correct.
Ma'am, on page 3 of 5 of this document, it looks like at 9:04:10, it's indicated that, that 2 Charlie 45 is going 10:14 to 23 in Miramar. What does that mean?
1014 is transport. He's transporting somebody to 23rd and Miramar.
When you saw that in your investigation and obtained this, was that significant to you that you saw the 1014 going to 23rd and Miramar?
Yes.
Why?
Because Regina had told me that he stopped her at one location and then followed her to another.
Okay. And then if I look at the very next entry after that, one shows 21:12. So 9:12:32, Officer Holtzclaw, 2 Charlie 45, is now at the location at 2425 Northeast 24th Street. Is that right?
Correct.
And was that significant to you that he finally put it in that address?
Yes. When he originally said he was 1014, he said he was 1014 to an area near 23rd and Miramar.
Okay.
And then when he arrived at the exact location, he gave them the exact location of the house.
2425 is the photograph I showed you. 2425 is the photograph I showed you, and you can see the house number of the house on the corner. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And that's the house that has the boarded up windows on the side?
Correct.
Okay, ma'am. Is there a code, a 10 code, a 1014, 108, whatever, when you're going to follow a suspect drunk driver when you drive somewhere? Do you have a 10 code for that?
No, you better not be following a drunk driver.
Okay, but 1014, I think we saw that in Miss Great's case. That was a code that was shown in the CAD call on that for actually transporting a person, correct?
Correct.
Showing you State's Exhibit number 267 and ask if you recognize what that is.
Yes, it's the different radio traffic and call.
The radio traffic that would be going to the CIU dispatcher and the unit, and the CAD dispatcher.
Correct.
Have you had a chance to review it?
I have.
And is it accurate? Nope.
Yes.
Nope. Offer 267, counsel.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit number 267 will be admitted.
Publish, Your Honor.
You may publish.
Ma'am, what was that?
That was him making his traffic stop. He was saying he was out at 14th and Kellam, and he gave the tag number of the vehicle he was stopping.
All right. What's all that?
That's him getting in line for a crime information to run somebody. And she's telling him she's on the phone and he'll be next in line.
Okay.
State's Exhibit 267 was played.
Running Miss Copeland for warrants.
Correct.
State's Exhibit 267 was played again.
Miss Copeland did not have warrants.
Correct.
Why do you think it says that? Are they playing this over and over, or are they pausing it?
They
I'd say
might
they're
be pausing it to.
It's
Yeah.
real short, though, right?
Yeah, it's not very long. Or they're playing it over so that they can point out the different
Okay, that's weird.
places. Yeah, it is weird. They're
Yeah.
weird.
That would correspond with the entry we looked at going to the area of 23rd and Miramar.
right. And he said, I'll give you the exact 20, which means location, when I get there.
Okay.
State's Exhibit 267 was played.
And that's when he says 24, 25.
Right. And he's 97, which means I'm at the scene of what he gave, 24, 25.
See what he gave.
How hard are you
What the
bleeding
scene?
right
The
now,
scene of what he
Susan?
gave. Right here at the scene.
Are you
Hi.
are you blinking pretty hard right now, Susan?
Oh, constantly.
This is the scene of what he gave over here. Y'all.
Y'all.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, other than Miss Copeland telling you that house at 2425 was the house that he eventually parked beside, or in the grassy area, have you been able to identify anything else that would show up in police records or anyone else associated with the case as to why he would go there and say, did you say 97?
I'm 97.
At that location?
No.
Was that significant to you?
Of why he went there?
Yeah, why yeah, why he would say, I'm at that spot.
Why he said he was at that spot?
Yes, ma'am.
My
I
God.
mean,
Little
that's the
Dumbo.
place where he went. It was close to
Ooh.
the relative's house where she left the car. And he's just given a location for dispatch to know where he's at.
As he's getting ready to sexually assault someone.
Right.
Exactly.
What we always do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it concerning to you as a lead detective or significant to you as a lead detective that if he was going to commit a sexual assault, he would give that exact location to the dispatcher?
Is it blankety blink, blink, blink? He did the same thing with Rosetta. He's just telling the dispatcher where he's at.
No biggie.
Yeah. Double dumbass.
Mm.
Double dummy for sure.
Ma'am, I'm going to hand you State's Exhibit number 266 and ask if you recognize what this document is.
The activity card for that day, 42514.
That's Officer Holtzclaw's activity card.
Yes,
Did you obtain this in your investigation?
I did.
Is it accurate?
Yes,
The way that it is was turned in and hadn't been altered is what I mean once it was turned in.
correct.
Offer states 266.
No objection.
All right. States Exhibit 266 will be admitted.
Ma'am, 266 is exhibit activity log for 425 of 2014 to Charlie 45, Officer Holtzclaw, correct?
Correct.
And the CIU, excuse me, the CAD call shows it starts at 2039, correct?
Correct.
And it extends to 2115, so 849 to 915.
Right.
When I go down on the activity log, if I get to 835
Shut
to
up, Jack.
850, hang on. Sorry. Do you see he gives a location on Northeast 16th Street, correct?
Correct.
What does DOM mean?
Domestic.
Some type of domestic disturbance?
Yes.
And that goes from 835 to 850, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The next entry shows Northeast 21st and Granada. And that shows to be a traffic stop, correct?
Correct.
And that shows from 8:50 p.m. until 9:05.
Correct.
The next entry is 1212 Northeast 17th Street. Is DIS disturbance?
Yes.
That doesn't, according to what was logged, that doesn't start until 9:45, correct?
Correct.
So on his activity log, does he indicate he's anywhere at any point at that location of either 14th and Kellam and or 24th in Myanmar?
Nope.
What was that significant? What was that significant to you?
Yes.
Why?
He wasn't logging in correctly. I feel this was being deceptive. He wasn't logging the correct times and he didn't log the correct locations. And everyone, if you combine the two, It didn't give the total amount of time that he was actually on the traffic stop and the transport.
Ma'am, in regards to the AVL, did we do what you normally do and then a little bit more in regards to the AVL in regards to Miss Copeland's case?
I did.
First of all, ma'am, if I can, I want to show you State's Exhibit number 260. What is 260?
It's the AVL map of the way he drove from the traffic stop to Miramar, 2425 on Miramar.
Doesn't show the time or the speeds. It's just showing route, correct?
Correct.
And from the traffic stop to 2425, the house at the corner of 24th and Miramar.
Correct.
Offer states 260.
No objections.
States 260 will be admitted.
Okay, ma'am. 260 is right there. All right. Is down where my finger is the 14th and Kellam area?
Yes.
Ma'am, do you know what this road right here is?
Well, not without
Not without looking.
at a Google map or something.
If I told you it was Granada, do you care or would you have any reason? Not do you care? Would you have any reason to disagree with me?
Nope.
All right. And then this is going to be the location of 24th and Miramar.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I realise that red lines kind of covering up some of it, but doesn't show the house 3 from the corner where Miss Copeland indicated she had parked her car.
Yes.
Okay. Are they relatively small yards?
Yes.
Okay. And the green dot is the 2425 4th Street?
24th Street. Yes.
And then you can see the bus depot where the buses are,
Yes.
at least from the overhead view.
Yes.
All right. Now, also in regards to the actual AVL and the speeds and the timing, did you also ask your AVL division to give you a route map, which is states number 410?
Yes.
And does this show, at least particularly what the red line shows as far as the direction and path of travel?
Yes.
And does it actually, though, continue past after what happens at 24 and 25 North East 24th Street and then kind of continue the path that Officer Holtzclaw took for some time after that?
Yes.
And is that accurate based upon what you were given from your AVL department?
Yes.
Offer states 410.
Judge, we've never seen this. Counsel confer. No objection, Your Honor.
All right. States Exhibit 410 will be admitted.
All right, detective, I'm going to have to ask you several questions about this, all right?
All right. Okay.
You see 410 there?
Yes.
All right. It's difficult. Do you see the 2-0 speeds that are right there? The 8:54:11 at 0 speed and the 8:59:12 at 0 speed?
Yes.
Is that generally the area of 14th and Kellam?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the testimony about how it's not an exact location? It's tapped into the center line within a reasonable area of where the car is.
Right. And when there are so many points, it has to print the times kind of sporadically, because otherwise they're going to be printing on top of each other and you couldn't read it.
And in your investigation, ma'am, and working with AVL, and the way the computer gives this, is it necessarily giving us every data point, or is it giving us a series of data points, the way the computer gives it to us?
A series. It's not giving you every one.
All right. But whenever I look at that part of the state's exhibit number 410, does it appear to be consistent with not only the other documents that you have received as far as the location of what Officer Holtzclaw says that he is on this traffic stop, but also what Miss Copeland told you?
Correct.
At some point, ma'am, it looks like, for example, at 9:03:50, if I'm looking at the data on this correctly, it shows a speed now of 9 knots, correct?
Correct.
And can you tell me, based on your investigation, the direction of travel that we're going?
East.
Okay, so east on, that would be 14th Street, is that right?
You'd have to back it out for me to tell you the exact.
Well, the one above, it says Northeast 15th Street, right?
Oh, okay, you're right.
And I agree. There may be a treacherous or something in there, and then eventually it looks like it gets to that corner, and then does it go north?
There may be a terrorist or something in there. What the hell's that?
I think
I think he's
Think-
like referring to like a gremlin.
Oh,
Just being,
yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Yes.
And you can see different speeds and different points of travel. For example, if the dots matching up, it's 9:07:17 going 9, correct?
Correct.
And then more dots that some have on this exhibit, the data with it, some don't. We are still now going east until we get to Myanmar Boulevard. Is that right?
Correct.
And does it appear then that the course of travel goes north on Myanmar?
Correct.
For example, there's one right there that 2 Charlie 45 at 9:09:02 looks like it's going 24 knots, correct?
Correct.
The next data point down over on the other side of the street shows 5 seconds earlier, correct?
Correct.
13.
Correct.
And is that generally your understanding of the way the AVL works? That if it's moving, it's supposed to hit every 5 seconds?
Correct.
Let's go north on Myanmar. And now it gets kind of complicated, at least as far as data points go, because it looks like there's data points both going, ma'am, I don't know if you can see. Let me go back over here so we can get orientated. This is 23rd Street, correct?
Okay.
I just
See
want to
that?
pause for a quick second. This is all being done to, well, for a couple of reasons, in my opinion. One, to completely confuse the jury, because I would imagine, I haven't been watching chat, but I would imagine that it gets very confusing just trying to listen to this.
It's really tedious. It's
Yeah,
really tedious.
really, really tedious and really, people aren't really, the jury's probably falling asleep at this point.
And they're sounding like they're really organized and they really just have it all pinpointed down.
To the second of all that they're trying to sell a timeline of
Yes.
of what is happening, and to force a timeline, I guess, is, I don't really know how else to say it, but to force something
That is
not really there.
That's exactly right. You said it right.
I'm just getting bloody confused with your bloody street names. Why can you not be normal and just call it Johnny Jack Street or something like that instead of 24th, 25th Street? Jeez, oh!
But what gets even more confusing, a lot of times our streets, it'll be one street and you keep driving and you go past a stop sign or a red light and it changes. It's a different street.
Yeah. Northeast, 24th, 25th, 26th, 28th Street. It's like, Jesus Christ. Just name the streets properly, people.
Well, you'll never want to go to Austin, Texas, Alice. You'll be so confused.
No, I mean,
or just about anywhere in Utah, because we run on a grid system here. It's all northeast, southwest, and it can be, so anyway.
You're going up the hill, or you're going down the hill, or you're going up the street, or you're going down the street. None of this north, south, east, west, don't know which direction is best.
So yeah, I believe this is, I'm just, the reason that where I have this in here is because I wanted you to see how confusing this had to be for the jury and how they're trying to make the different data point times fit with her narrative of
I think it's completely intentional. Completely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too.
And it's the way they keep repeating the question and all. It's like, no, they don't just say, and so was it here that he parked? Yes. So it was here that he parked? Yes. It's like, Jesus Christ, ask an answer.
2425 where he parked? Yes.
Yeah.
2425, was that the address?
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, they covered the hell out of that one. They beat that one to death.
They're doing that in the Murdaugh trial too. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty irritating. I heard a lot of that.
Or is that Murdaugh? Sorry.
Yeah, depends. Alex, potato.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that's, I just wanted to point that out, that there's a reason for why this is monotonous and boring. But it's intentional, like Jack said.
Yeah. You guys forgot Alec.
Yeah. So obnoxious,
Alec.
man. It's like,
accent.
What is his damn name? Anyway.
I think he calls his own self different at times.
He probably does.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Okay. So back to the boring stuff that they're trying to confuse you with.
And now, when I get over to where Miramar intersects with 23rd, it looks like we have data points that are to the east of that intersection and also to the west of that intersection. Can you help the jury understand why you've got points all over the place like that?
Oh, sure. He goes north on Miramar, and then later he comes back down south, and then he goes west on, did we say that was 23rd?
Yes, ma'am.
Then he goes west on 23rd. So he actually, after he stops in the grassy area, he does a U-turn, goes back down south and then west.
Let me move it down. So this is 23rd Street in Miramar, right?
Correct.
And it looks like there's east travel and then north again on Miramar, where it picks up a little off to the east, correct?
Correct.
And then I think you said just a moment ago he goes north to approximately the location of 2425 Northeast 24th Street.
Right.
And then there's points coming back down, is that right?
Right.
And then basically going back the way he travelled, but then this, instead of going south on Miramar on 23rd, he continues and goes to the west.
Correct.
And then keeping that course of travel, it appears, I don't have the name of this street, but it appears he goes approximately a block and then goes maybe 2 blocks and then goes north again. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then up here, we're seeing speed zeros again over here, correct?
Correct.
All right. And then up and over, and eventually this map stops after we get beyond the perimeters of the time you were looking at. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, ma'am. When I'm looking at the data points that are over near the location where Miss Copeland says that she was sexually assaulted, do you see those?
Yes.
When I look at all those speeds, I don't even see a speed 0. Did you note that in this exhibit whenever you first got it?
Did I notice that?
Yes.
Yes.
Was it concerning to you that there's no 0 speed there?
Not after I knew that it only hit every 5 minutes.
Explain what you did to try to figure out what's going on in that regard.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Okay. You know that if it's a 0 speed, it only hits every 5 minutes.
Right.
What were you able to do, if anything, by looking at these numbers and then by looking at any other?
Well, when I looked at these numbers and I didn't see a 0 speed that at that time, that's when I was a little bit confused with all the speeds and the multiple dots. And so I called Joe Hill and asked for him to give me an animation of the way that the vehicle went so I could understand it a bit better.
Did he provide that to you?
He did.
And was that also produced in Discovery?
Yes.
All right. Ma'am, I'm going to hand you States Exhibit number 261 and ask if you can identify what's on that disc.
The animation.
Have you had a chance to look at that?
I have.
And is it accurate?
Yes.
Offer States 261.
No objection.
All right, States Exhibit number 261 will be admitted.
Ma'am, while Miss McConnell puts that in and gets it to wherever we can watch it, can you describe it a little bit? First of all, is this animation in real time, or is it in real time, or like we watch it in real time? Is there going to be 25 minutes or 30 minutes of this traffic stop?
No.
How has it changed?
It's going faster than as you see it move, you'll see the times move, but it goes a lot faster than real time.
And
Oh,
Why?
boy.
Ooh.
And ma'am, whenever the vehicle is at a 0 speed, what does it do? Like, describe when it's at 0 speed. What are we going to see on this animation versus when it's moving?
Well, when it's moving, you're going to see time. You'll see 25 Charlie, 45, and the time. But when it stops, it just disappears. It's just sitting there.
So, in other words, if I look on this exhibit number 410, the actual type that shows the speed and the time and the seconds, that'll flash if it's moving.
Right. It flashes and moves points.
But if it's 0, it just goes off.
Just goes away.
And you just see the data point. Is that right?
You don't see the data points. You just see the roads. It just goes away.
Okay. So what it does...
Right.
This is,
Okay.
sorry, pausing really quick again. This is very convenient for them to create a timeline of this assault, this animation thing. Very convenient for them.
It's not proof of anything.
No, it's not.
Sounds like total BS.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm surprised Adam's hair wasn't on fire.
Hey, Regina said, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all the proof you need. Somebody
Yeah,
said.
Regina said he followed her to her house, to the house.
Well, that's what
but,
Regina told me.
Yep. Well, the AVL didn't tell you that, did it?
No,
We're not
it
going to
did
talk
not.
about that. Not going to bring that up here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost done with this boring part, but we'll go
So
ahead.
then, therefore, there had to be time for her to walk from that house to his car, rape her, and be gone within 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Basically.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And
Yeah.
because of the way that they're saying it and they're asking questions, being repetitive like that, repeating the same thing, no wonder the jury seats were up their arses and they came to the conclusion that they came to, in my opinion, because it is ridiculous.
Their heads were spinning right here. They weren't catching anything, I don't think.
No, probably tuned out.
Well, they're also presenting one accuser after the next, 13
Yeah.
accusers, and they're
Oh,
bringing
God.
these detectives back every time to testify.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
it's just like, oh, what the heck? We can't keep this straight. You notice how he has mentioned things being similar to Rosetta Great. He's mentioned
Yep.
that twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in
he did.
fact, that's not, I mean, these jurors can't wrap their brains around the facts of this case enough to know that he's full of shit when he says that.
Do you know if the jurors were able to take notes?
I believe so, but I'm not. I believe I read something about leaving notebooks somewhere.
Yeah, they couldn't take their notebooks back to the jury room or something.
I can't remember.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah.
I don't know
exactly.
if that meant to not to deliberate. I'm not sure about that.
No,
don't
before
As far as
deliberation.
like
Yeah.
taking their books with them when they.
Yeah.
I don't
Each
know.
day.
That's a good question. I'll
Yeah, it
see
is.
if I
We'll
can
have to-
find the answer to that for you.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. Normally they leave them. They leave them. They don't take them
Yeah, I could just be making up
on
some
break and stuff
right
like
now.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's understandable if they're on break or they're leaving the courtroom. But for the court to allow them to take notes and then no able to take their notes into the deliberation room when they come to deliberate, I mean, that's a bit back to front, is it no?
Oh,
In
they
other
can
words,
take
we
them
say it
to
was Irish.
deliberate.
Yeah, I
They
think
take
you
them
don't
into
take them to
deliberation.
deliberate, but
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's
we'll
not
have to find out
before.
a definite answer for that if we can.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is what the whole point of this is. And just also, this Regina's case is the only case that they used animated
Ah,
AVL
That-
or whatever. The only
Interesting.
one, because this is the
That's
one
interesting.
that they couldn't really, well, first of all, of the lie of where of her parking the car in front of her relative's house, but also because it just her story just didn't make sense. And so, you know, they went to all the trouble of getting this animated. That's my opinion. They
Yeah.
went to all the trouble of getting this animated thing so they could try to make excuses for why this and why that. Okay, let's carry on.
Okay. You had the opportunity to review this as recently as today, correct?
Yes.
All right. This morning, for the first 5, give or take, minutes, is the car basically stopped at K.Lim and 14th?
Oh, wait. You skipped down.
Yeah, you skipped some.
Line
Oh, did I? Oh.
13. Line 13.
Right. For the first 5, give or take, minutes, I think it's a 10-minute or give or take.
Correct.
Jesus Christ. Even trying to read it, never mind hearing it in a courtroom, trying to read what they're actually saying is ridiculous.
It makes no sense. Makes no
Doesn't
sense.
make any sense. My God, man. Animation. For the first 5 minutes is the car basically stopped at K.Lim and 14th?
Right. Where the traffic stop occurred.
All right. So it's not going to move for the first 5 minutes.
Nope. You're not going to see anything. Jesus.
I just
State's Exhibit 261 was played.
saw a flash. Is that 0 speed there? Did you see that?
I didn't see it. You can't
Let's
see
Probably
anything.
probably blinking.
She likes to smack that. Stop blinking, women, and look what you're reading.
Caught me in a blank there.
It's going to take all damn day.
Yeah. Don't blink or you miss it.
Lord have mercy.
Literally. Oh shit.
God, the clown's reading. Come on. You guys.
Let's start it over.
Sorry, Kay.
Oh,
If
no. Little
if you
comedy.
walk at the area of 14th and Kelm, you'll see it. Now, don't blink because you'll see it. There's a flash. Now it's moved up and now it's stopped.
Damn it. I tried not to blink. And now it went away. And that's the traffic stop.
And
He's trying to
is
sell
that-
his. He's trying to sell his story here. That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And is that consistent with State's Exhibit number 410 that it shows him moving up to the traffic stop and then stopping?
Correct.
State's Exhibit 261 was played.
Okay. And again, ma'am, just while we're waiting for something to happen, there was a 0 flash, of course, right? When I walked in front of it. But you saw the 0 flash, correct?
I did.
Well, of course.
So every 5 minutes, in theory, it's popping at 0. Is that right?
Correct.
And then the dots, are they consistent with exhibit number 410 just showing the course of travel, but without the, as the animation goes, it doesn't have all the numbers plugged in, correct?
What the fuck are you talking about? Correct. Jesus. That's unreal.
How do I feel I'm trying to read the bloody thing and it's just making no sense? Oh my God. Ma'am, while we're waiting, and again, it may flash here in a minute, but to try to save some time, are the exact data points that show up on the animation 100% consistent with the data points that show up on Exhibit 410?
No.
And that's because there's multiple data points and the computer generated it the way it generated, correct?
Oh, God. Correct.
All right. Are they consistent, though, in the path of travel or the duration of travel within the different seconds that are noted on there?
Yes, that's exact.
Okay, I think it just flashed again. Did you see it?
Is this like the third time? Did you see
No,
it?
I didn't see it. I was blanking.
Was he watching for a
Alright.
ghost? Did you see it that time? Come on.
Oh my God.
I walked in front of it, but right when it flashed. But
Yeah.
did you see it through me?
Yeah, you saw that, didn't you?
Exactly. I just walked in front of it, but did you see it flash? No, because I blinked at the same time.
Yeah, and you walked in front of it.
I think it just flashed again. Did you see it?
Oh, Lord. Okay, line
Now-
13.
This is so ridiculous. I can't believe it.
It is. And that I'm trying not to do that voice I did the first time, but it is so hard because he's so fucking stupid. Oh.
You're almost
No.
done, Alice.
No, it's starting to move. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that consistent with eastbound travel on 14th Street?
Correct.
Mr. Adams, if you need to get any closer to see, you're welcome to.
Okay. Well, thank you, Your Honor.
Ma'am, as the data, whenever the data starts showing and it moves again, it is basically clicking every second, but showing every 5-second intervals.
Correct.
We are seeing it speed up, correct?
Correct. It's sped up. Yeah.
All right. Northbound and now eastbound again.
Right.
Now we're on Miramar going towards 23rd Street.
Correct.
Ma'am, it appeared that as it travelled up 23rd Street, there was a brief moment that it stopped. And now it's at a longer pause. Is that correct?
Correct.
While we're waiting, is that significant to you?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think where it stopped for that brief moment is where he picked Regina up, put her in the back of the car before he drove her to where he's at now.
All right. I'll ask you some more questions about that in a minute, but I want to go ahead and let it play.
Okay.
Now, we're seeing movement again, correct?
Right. Southbound.
Now, we are well north of 2 or 3 blocks north of 25th and moving away from Miramar area. And then in a moment, it'll go another block north and then back toward it. Correct?
Correct.
All right. Based on the CAD call.
Wait.
That's
Can
not
we
true.
pause? Can we pause just a second?
That
He just
isn't
says
right.
it says we're just going south. She says they're going southbound, and then he backs up and he says going north. What the?
That
I
whole
can't
thing's
follow.
screwed up. Well,
It's so
I mean,
weird.
he turns. The AVL has him turning westbound on Northeast 23rd, which is just one block past. I don't know. Now we're well north of 2 or 3 blocks north of 25th. North of 25th. He was never north of 25th.
No, he never was.
Moving
He
away
turned
from
around
Miramar.
before he got to 25th.
Yes.
He made a U-turn and came back
U-turn.
down to 23rd. And then took 23rd westbound. And then he looped back north, back east. And then we lost him before he basically would have gotten back in line with Miramar again. Her data point stopped. He was
Yeah.
probably circling back around to see
If she,
if she was walking somewhere.
She's saying he pulled his U-turn way further north
Yeah.
than
right.
he actually did.
Yeah.
That's
And
weird.
he never was on 24th Street. That's the whole,
Yeah.
that's the rub. That he was never on 24th Street. So,
Yeah,
Right.
and that's just not being, they're just skipping over that completely.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. Just a few more pages. We're almost done with this part.
All right. Based upon the CAD call, ma'am, does it appear that once Officer Holtzclaw... Oh, you've moved, Rhonda. Move back down.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Right there. Right there. Line 2. Line 2.
All right. Based upon the CAD call, ma'am, does it appear that once Officer Holtzclaw's patrol car started moving southbound on Miramar, again, after that stop at 25th, at 24th Street, that the CAD call had been closed?
Yes.
All right. Detective Davis. I hate having that word come out my mouth. In regards to, and I want to focus in on this area. And to get orientated, we've got 23rd Street at the very bottom of what's on the TV monitor. And then on the right-hand side of the monitor, the dots going up and then back down is Miramar, correct?
Correct.
And then 24th Street, is it going to be, it is going, say that again. And then 24th Street, is it going to be this area right in here, 24th and 25th?
Right.
Okay. When you had an opportunity to discuss this with Mr. Hill again, is it your understanding that these are the exact locations of the vehicle?
No.
It's what's your understanding of what was going on with these hitting to the center line of this grid?
That's the way the computer program is designed. It hits to the center line of the street. It will never show you go off city streets.
Now, you heard Miss Copeland testify earlier today that her memory is that the police car, once she got to the house at 2416, that house, that her memory was the police car pulled up beside her. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Is that concerning to you in your investigation that was on 24th Street, but the AVL is showing at least hitting on Miramar?
Well, when I first got this exhibit, it was a little bit, and that's why I went back and got the animation, because his car never goes on 24th Street.
Boom.
On the animation.
on this or the animation. But when I got the animation, and I could watch the times and stuff, it helped me to understand. But her
Oh God. Oh my God. That was yeah. Thanks for clearing that up.
yeah.
Jesus.
Ex-
Oh,
Explain that. Explain how it could help you with the times. What do you mean?
Well, because he comes to a stop for like 22 seconds, according to the animation, which is enough time to put her in the back of the car. He Her memory just wasn't correct on him driving down 24th. He didn't do it.
So let's be fair, okay? So starting right now, that's 22 seconds.
Okay.
Is it your opinion that that's enough time to get her in the police car?
Yes.
Well, when you watched the animation, you saw the car then move up a little bit further after that initial stop and then stop longer, at least no animation and activity happening for a longer period of time.
Right.
Do you see that?
Right.
Were you able to, either using exhibit number 410 and or the animation exhibit number 261, determine, although 410 doesn't show any zero speeds on it, were you able to determine, at least at that spot, were you able to determine how much time potentially could have passed between the two moving points that we have?
Yes.
Okay, and how much was that?
4 minutes and 33 seconds.
And is that consistent with what you understand about the AVL, that it can be up to 5 minutes and not hit at anything?
Correct.
Okay. Once you're able to make that determination, did it resolve the concerns you had about whether or not Officer Holtzclaw had come to a stop at the location that Miss Copeland was telling you?
It resolved the concerns. Yes.
The 4 minutes and 30 seconds, was that, in your opinion, consistent with what Miss Copeland had told you about the length of the actual sexual intercourse?
The fourth time, yes.
Ma'am, were you
Yeah.
also
That's it,
able?
Alice.
Or was that
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that's
all.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
it?
please
Thank
stop.
God.
That was
Please
brutal.
stop.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes. Yeah.
well,
So
aren't you glad he cleared up the most important part?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just her bad memory.
yeah, that's
Come
Yeah.
on. If this
Yeah.
actually happened, she is going to know if he followed her to that house and had her jump in his car right there in her car. Come on. You
She
don't
would be hoping
misremember
that her
that.
relatives saw that. You know,
Yeah.
if she were really being sexually assaulted and she was in front of a relative's house,
Lay down on the horn.
she would be looking to see if, I mean, and hoping that someone
Yeah.
would happen to look out.
Yeah.
You would not forget that.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah. And it was just
And then she goes, jumps in his car over on 24th or whatever the hell it is, Miramar.
yeah.
She would remember that. Come on.
Well, how are they going to explain her getting in his car? Because he's not on that street. Was I zoning out?
Yeah, why does she jump over there and get in his car? You
I
know,
mean, how
wants to
does she
yell
get in
out the
his,
window to her? Come
how's
on
he
over here.
come a block over? I'm over here on 24th
Yeah.
Street. I'm over here on 23rd Street. Is that what street he was on?
Yeah,
He
Well,
drove
I
down
think
that's right.
23rd, I think.
I think she's saying he stopped at like 24th and Miramar,
Yeah.
like 3 houses from where she was.
Okay, so she walks to the end of the street,
Yeah. And then
which
gets
isn't
in
what
his car there.
she's confused about that too. Okay.
Yeah.
So he
She
tells her
misremembered it.
before he follows her home that, now when we get there, I want you to come and get my car because I'm going to sexually assault you. So,
Again,
again, they do it the first stop?
made her pull her pants down.
Pull her pants down. Right. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Makes no
Don't
sense.
make no kind of sense.
Don't make no
Nope.
kind of sense. Go.
And instead of lying, she just didn't recall.
She misremembers.
She
misremembered it.
misremembered.
Her
Yeah, so
memory just wasn't correct.
I'll just fill in the blanks for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, Jack. That's exactly what K.Davis did.
Yep.
And she did that with all of the accusers, to be quite honest. But that's exactly how she played it. Well, she told me she remembered everything else, all the other roads that they took, and all of the actions of the actual sexual assault. But she misremembered this important part about, because how they glossed over exactly where her car is.
Yep.
If they fixed it so that she could say that Davis could say that they were never on 24th, but where the fuck is her car then? If they
And why didn't they?
on 24th,
Why did?
where is her car?
And why didn't they do animations on all of these various
Yeah.
alleged victims?
I didn't
Well,
realize
So
that, Rhonda.
I'm thinking that she was in the back of his car, and that 22 seconds, he stops right there and has her point to where the house is she's going to. And then he
No,
pulls
because
up
they're
further.
not on that.
They're never on that street though.
No, I mean off Miramar. Like
Oh,
from
oh, oh.
24th and Miramar, she points down the street and says, that third house down there.
That third house.
And
on
then
the
he
left.
pulls up a little further and pulls over so she can get out.
I
Yeah.
think it's the part where he pauses and points his headlights at the numbers on the front of the house.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that's
that could be.
exactly when he calls that he's, what
That he
is the
arrived.
code that he's there
97.
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
at 2425.
Yeah.
And he's not just going to
Oh,
know
okay.
that
That
street
makes
address
sense.
without
That makes
reading it
sense.
off the front of the house. So I
Right.
think he paused with his headlights on the
course.
house and then pulled her.
That makes
And
sense.
she probably got out right there too, or maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe then he pulled around to let her get out where no one would
Mhm.
see her.
Went up and flip the
Mhm.
U-turn onto the side so that she could get out. Yeah. But you're going to note it. Well, you have to, it's very, very important to recognize and understand that they never explain if K.Davis is saying, yeah, he never went on 24th. Okay, then you need to explain where's her car. If
That's
they
right.
never went on 24th,
Where the hell's her
where's
car? That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's pretty big deal.
She took a left and you kept going straight,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
So, and that will never get answered. That will never get
No.
addressed.
No.
So, okay. Okay. Yeah. Go do your thing.
That's a failure of Daniel's lawyer, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that it's, I don't know.
So we're
Well,
going to
if
document.
He didn't
Oh, I'm
question
sorry.
it. Sorry, Jack.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to we're going to document.
In my opinion, Susan, Daniel's lawyers let him do a lot and didn't ask a lot of questions that they should have asked. For what I've gathered, for what we've been covering and things like that. I mean, they were supposed to be good lawyers, but in my opinion, they didn't ask the right stuff because Daniel
But-
wouldn't be sitting here for 263 years.
Good
in my
God, they had
opinion.
13 cases to cover. Can
Yeah,
you even imagine?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and all he had was one. He had 13 trials in one that he had to
Yeah.
investigate basically alone.
He
And I
needed
have some
he needed
empathy
three
for it.
he needed 3 or 4 more lawyers to
Yes,
help
he
him and
did.
paralegals.
He
Well,
needed
he
a
had
team.
Pete Bates, right?
Yeah, well, for the investigation part of it, yeah.
Right.
But as far as working in the courtroom and doing
He
questioning and stuff, and I
he had
don't.
Robert Gray.
Yeah, he had Robert Gray, but I don't really think he was very. I'm not going to say he didn't do any, cross examinations or anything, but I don't remember Robert Gray really doing a lot of, direct or cross examination at all. He may have. I'm trying to think. I may have seen some, but I'm not really sure that it was very much.
I think he did something. I remember reading some of his. If Cherie was here, she could tell
She would,
us.
yeah, she would know right off the bat for sure.
I mean,
should-
did Daniel's lawyers push on the fact about how they got the accusers?
Well, I mean, did they push on it?
Yeah.
Mostly what they pushed on was the credibility of the women,
Yeah.
which in June of 2014 was a horrible way to approach it.
Yeah, it
But
backfired.
I'd love
I just think
I'd love to
they weren't
hear
too-
opening and closing statements.
Oh yeah. That'd
Are
be
those
good.
available?
Available? Well, I heard G.Gieger gave the transcript to someone and they shared it with a bunch of someone, so it's probably out there.
It might be out there
Uh-huh.
somewhere. We'll have to see. We'll do some
Yeah,
digging.
I mean, I'm just wondering why Daniel's lawyers never pushed Blinky and Dipshit more on how because you can clearly see that they went searching for these women by using Daniel's motor computer,
Yep.
and that these women never actually come forward. So why did Daniel's lawyer no push more on that side of things?
I don't know. I think it's like Kay said, he was trying to, I would imagine that his best strategy was to attack the credibility of the women, but that backfired. But I don't think that he realized that at the time. I'm sure he didn't. He definitely wanted, Scott Adams is a well-known, very good attorney in Oklahoma City.
He's
And-
used to winning.
He what?
He's used to winning. He wins.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's a winner.
He's
But
a winner.
It was just too overwhelming and it was just too much. And I feel like he probably felt like that was his best strategy under the circumstances. That he, I don't know.
I don't think he had like I wouldn't have had if I were in his position. I don't think he had a good grasp of all of the cases.
Right.
Mhm.
I just don't think, you're trying to read all the discovery and you're trying to process all this, but there's just really no way with the enormity of the discovery that you could really wrap your mind around it.
Plus all the flim flam horse crap that they pulled.
Right. Phaedrax, we've heard that they've been shared by the state somewhere, but we're not sure where. We'll do some digging and see what else we can find, but I don't know that we have all the transcripts, unfortunately, or at least right now. So we're still digging.
I mean, it just bothers me that Daniel's lawyer didn't attack the credibility of the cops either. Because
Right, and I think he might have been afraid to, Alice. Like, how's
Probably.
this going to go down? I have to work with these people.
Right.
Yeah.
These
Now-
are
this last bit that we're going to do is Scott Adams doing cross-examination on K.Davis. I don't know that it's going to be satisfactory as far as how much he, can
Go after her.
attack, but
Yeah.
I think it's, well, first of all, it's definitely much more interesting than the last pages that we just read, but it's definitely going to put K.Davis on the spot.
Yeah, maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit, but I mean, it's just one of the things that's always bugged me about this case. Why did Daniel's lawyer persist with the detectives and saying, well, why were you phoning these women and saying, we've had a report that you've been sexually assaulted by a police officer? They shouldn't have said by a police officer.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, and I mean, maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe we'll find out in this. I mean, I don't know, but it's just something that's bothered me is why his lawyers didn't hit hard with how these cops came across these women. As we've said before, these women would probably be more believed, to me anyway. I don't know about anybody else in the panel or anybody else in chat, but to me anyway, these women would have been more believable in what they were saying if they came forward of their own accord, rather than the cops going back on Daniel's computer and finding the what's the word? Because I'm not want to be disrespectful. Finding the
people he'd stopped, people that he had interacted with.
Yeah,
legitimate
Well,
stops.
only searching for Black females that he had pulled over who have a history of drugs and criminal record.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go. I mean, just searching for this narrow group
demographic was,
and then saying he
let-
only pulled over Black women, or he only did this to Black women, you know.
Kay, I'll let
Only
you
saying
answer just real quick before we get back on this last transcript pages. This question from Phaedrax. His lawyers were police appointed through his union, right?
No.
I'll let you answer that.
No. So the only time he had representation, immediately after the 2-hour interview, he went home, he called his dad. Then, I don't know, maybe his dad told him to call the FOP. They appointed Susan Knight to represent him. Susan Knight, who's married to the public information officer from Oklahoma City Police Department. So I wonder what they talked about at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she just represented him briefly because I think he has a different attorney when they decide to go ahead and do this predetermination hearing, is what it was called. It's a internal affairs sort of thing where they had Rob High, Valerie Homan. I can't remember if K.Davis testified, and I know Rocky Gregory did some, but they had, I think, just 4 officers testifying about the accusers and what the allegations were. And they just had this really kind of a circus, kind of it's like a trial where, and of course Daniel couldn't participate in it because they did it before his trial. So they fired him before he even went to trial. They found him guilty in the predetermination hearing, and it was a male officer, attorney that represented him for the predetermination hearing. And then once he was fired, he was done. So he got no representation for these charges, even though he was, up to date on his dues with the FOP and had been current for the 3 years that
Bullshit.
he was on the force. So
God,
no, they really did him dirty.
Yeah.
kidding.
His dad hired this high-profile attorney out of Oklahoma City with his retirement fund money.
That is so sad.
It is
It
gross.
is.
It's gross.
It is really
Terrible.
Okay, let's finish up with these pages. Like I said, this is more interesting. This is going to be Scott Adams is going to cross-examine K.Davis. So this will be a little more fiery than the last one was. G.Gieger, take a break, take a breather, go do what you got to do, go out and smoke a cigarette, whatever you need to do. And this is going to be Jack and Susan. So are you good, Susan, to finish with the rest of this?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to appear here on my screen.
Oh, shit. Sorry, that's my bad.
It's number 5, right?
Yeah, let me get it up here.
I got it. That's okay.
Okay. Add to the stream. Okay. All righty. So Jack, Mr. Adams, please go ahead, sir.
Alrighty. Okay, here we go. You check it through NCIC and she comes back clear, correct?
Correct.
Now, what Ms. Copeland testifies to is that, first of all, that she is told to expose herself at 14th and K.Lim, correct?
Sorry.
Correct.
And she told you that on your first interview with her back in October.
Yes.
And did you go to 13th and K.Lim and talk to any people out there of whether or not they saw a police car pull over Ms. Copeland wherein she had to expose herself in public?
No, I did not.
Okay. Then Ms. Copeland says that she tells Officer Holtzclaw that she has a relative in the area.
Right.
And she doesn't want to leave her car there because she's afraid something will happen to it.
Right.
And she tells you that Officer Holtzclaw follows her to the relative's car, or that she follows her to the relative's car. That's wrong. That we watched. Yeah, house. That we watched. We've seen a picture of on a number of occasions.
Right.
I think it's 249. It's a picture of the house.
Okay.
Is that a picture of the house? She was very adamant.
Right. I just didn't know what exhibit number it was.
And I had this up there when she was testifying, and she was very adamant that on April the 25th of 2014, that after Officer Holtzclaw stopped her, that she drove and parked her vehicle in front of that house, correct?
Correct.
And you heard me when I during cross-examination going over in very detail about making sure that she had parked there. She had parked on the street, and she testified, and I was even asking her which way the cars were facing. Do you remember all of that we were going through?
I do.
And she testified, and I was asking her, are you sure that Officer Holtzclaw pulled up next to the side of you?
Correct.
And she said that he did.
Yes.
And you would agree with me that from the information that we've received from the AVL, we know that is not true.
Correct.
None of that is true.
Correct.
Okay. Because the AVL doesn't show anything like that, does it?
Nope.
In fact, what the AVL is more consistent with is that if you look at the AVL, it's more consistent with Officer Holtzclaw. He actually calls in and says he has her in custody, correct? Or he has her in the 1014. What does that mean?
Transport.
He's transporting a person.
Right.
Now, whenever you're following someone, are you transporting them?
Not. You mean the same 10 code, but not. You use the same 10 code, but when you're following, technically, you're not transporting because they're not in your car.
Right. So if you're transporting someone, a 1014 would be what you would use.
Even if you're not transporting, but you're following or escorting, like if I'm escorting somebody to the hospital, I'm still saying I'm 1014.
Okay. In any event, you would agree with me that at no time does the ABL ever show Officer Holtzclaw on 24th Street on April the 25th of 2014.
Yes.
We know for a fact that didn't happen.
Correct.
You would also agree with me that at no time on April 25th of 2014 does Officer Holtzclaw's car ever show a zero speed on 24th Street, correct?
He's never on 24th to show a zero.
He's never on 24th Street, correct?
Right.
You saw how adamant she was that she parked her car there, correct?
Yes.
Then, also, when we talk about Miramar, you would agree with me that from the ABL, he never went down 24th Street. He went down what street to get to Miramar?
I'd have to see it again
Okay.
to see exactly what street.
May I approach, Your Honor?
May approach.
At 16th Street.
So, despite what Ms. Copeland says, we know for a fact that the GPS device in Officer Holtzclaw's car shows that he took 16th Street all the way to Miramar, correct?
Correct.
And he never entered 24th Street.
Mr. G.Gieger, asked and answered the court. All right, it's a little bit different. You can answer that.
He never did.
Then after he gets to Miramar Street, we show that he takes a left, correct?
Correct.
And as he's traveling on Miramar Street, this whole time on Miramar, the whole time that the ABL is tracking Officer Holtzclaw's car on Miramar, at no time does it ever show zero speed, correct?
Correct.
Then what you're saying is that none of that concerns you because but it didn't concern you that your victim was telling you something that you knew was not true, correct?
Well, I said it did concern me, and that's why I went back to get the ABL to clarify it more.
Okay, but you would agree with me that what happens is at least from the ABL that has been introduced that we've looked at on numerous occasions that Officer Holtzclaw, after 16th and Miramar, he goes left on Miramar, correct?
Correct.
And he passes 24th Street.
Correct.
And it appears that after he passes 24th Street, again, no zero speed, does it appear that he turns around at any time?
Yes, because he never got to 25th Street.
Boom.
Okay. Yep.
Eh.
Okay. So he never got to the next block over between 24th and 25th. Does it appear that he turns around?
Yes.
And then he goes back on Miramar
Right.
to
23rd, I think.
23rd Street. And then from 23rd he goes
West.
west. Now, admitting the fact that we have zero stops on 24th and admitting the fact that we have no stops with zero speeds on 24th and no stops on Miramar with zero speeds, you were able you were able to find where you believe that there's a 4 minute and 30-second interval there that this alleged assault happened.
4 minutes and 33 seconds.
Okay, 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And would you agree with me that that would be the longest amount of time it could be?
Yes.
Because that's taking a moving car to a moving car, correct?
That's 4 minutes and 33 seconds. The car is moving in that.
The start point at the end point is 4:33, correct?
You're confusing me.
Sure I am. Well then, I'll blow it up and maybe you can explain it to us.
I didn't get my 4 minutes and 33 seconds from this. I got it off the animation.
Off the what?
The animation. When it spits out the speed, the last time it spit out was at 21:11:00. And then the next time he starts moving is 21:15:33.
211?
Colon 00. And then he moves again at 21:15:33.
Okay. 21:11:00. How fast was he going?
I don't know. I have to. I don't.
What can be of any benefit to us from the map that you've introduced or the government has introduced as Exhibit 410? Where did we see this 21:11:00?
Well, we don't. That's why after I got this, it really kind of made it confusing. That's why I went and got the animation. Because if I went and got like another computer printout on this now, it would probably give me different data points. Still along the same path, but it might have different hits of time.
Well, all I'm trying to determine is that now you've introduced into evidence an exhibit that you're saying came from these AVL points, correct?
Correct.
I'm asking you to be fair with me. You made this animation. Where on this 410 does it show this 21:11:00?
It doesn't show it on that one.
Okay, fair enough. Where in any of the stuff I have does it show this?
On the animation,
On the animation.
you just said any of the stuff. You know, when we were sawing it flash, sawing it, if you watch it flash, it's flashing up the times. And I got those times on the flash marks.
So flashing up the times.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, why does it not show up on 4? Let's guess
supposed
it's
to be
exhibit 4.
Yeah.
4. Yeah, why does it not show up on 410?
Because, like I said, if I went and printed that again, I'd probably have different times. The computer spits out different data points.
Okay. Can you see Miramar on there?
Yes.
If you can just approach the screen, is it okay if the witness steps down?
It's okay, Kay.
Court.
Judge.
Oh, sorry, I was making a note. Speak loudly.
No.
Oh, you can approach. Oh God, sorry.
Would you show the jury where Miramar is?
Yes.
Speak loudly.
All of this. And it curves a little bit. All of that's Miramar.
Okay. So you see, and then the line coming into the end is 16th Street.
This one?
Yes,
Yes, that's 16.
16th. And then it hits Miramar, correct?
Correct.
And then go left. And then as you're traveling left, you see where those little dots, those are the reference points from the AVL, correct?
Right. These diamond looking.
Yes.
Yes.
And eventually that ends between 24th and 25th.
Right here. Yes.
Now on this map that we're looking at on 410, with the no zero speeds, apparently around in there somewhere, there's a U-turn of some kind, correct?
Correct.
And then the vehicle's traveling back this way.
Back south. Yes.
You can have a seat, please. Now, during this 4 minutes and 33 seconds, you would agree with me that at some point, officer, under Ms. Copeland's scenario, the police car would have had to come to a complete stop.
Correct.
That he would have to exit the vehicle, Officer Holtzclaw, yes?
To put his penis in her vagina?
God dang,
Just-
she's dying
just-
to
just-
say that.
Just
wow.
blurt it out, Cam. Get it off your chest, girl. You go.
I knew it was
Well-
coming. I knew it. Blinka, blinka, blinka.
Well, well, I don't know. Does he have to exit the police car to allegedly put his penis in someone's vagina? Does he?
Yes.
Okay. So he has to exit the police car.
Right.
Okay. After he exits the police car, he then has to walk around to the back seat, does he not?
Well, you don't walk around. You just right behind you.
Does he fly?
No, he takes one step.
Does he walk to the back seat?
Yes, but you said walk around.
I know.
So I thought you meant walking around the car.
You want to make this as quick as humanly possible. What I'm trying to do is walk you through the steps it would take to complete this in 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Is that fair?
I don't know what you just said.
Oh my God. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. You're confusing me. So
I'm confusing.
All right, ask a
Good
question.
Lord.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
The car has to come to a complete stop. Are you in agreement with that?
yes,
Officer Holtzclaw has to exit the car. Are you in complete agreement with that?
yes,
Officer Holtzclaw then has to go back and open the squad car door to Ms. Copeland
yes,
because it is not accessible. She is not allowed to open that door from the inside of the squad car.
correct,
So he has to open it.
correct,
And after he opens the squad car door, he must tell Ms. Copeland to step out.
correct,
And after Miss Copeland steps out, he must tell her, and she must complete the task of pulling down her pants and her underwear to a position to where he can insert his penis in her vagina. Correct?
correct,
But before he does that, and while he's instructing her to pull her pants down and her panties down during this period of time, he also has to either undress himself or, as you testified earlier, he has to somehow get his penis out of his pants in an erect state so he can insert it in her vagina, correct?
correct,
And then after he does that, he has to have sex to the point of ejaculation, correct?
if he ejaculates, yes,
Well, she said that he did. Again, are you not believing her?
I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, he has to satisfy himself to a point of ejaculation in a public area, and people are walking around out there at night, are they not?
I have no idea. I wasn't there.
Okay. But in any event, then what he has to do under the scenario of events, after he satisfies himself and he ejaculates, he then must redress himself to however he had to undress himself, correct?
If zip up his pants, I don't call that redressing.
Okay. Ms. Copeland has to completely exit away from the car under her scenario of events, correct?
What do you mean, exit away?
Well, she said that she was kind of inside the car, partly inside the car, did she not?
Been over the back seat.
Okay. Well, she has to somehow, after this period of time, get out of the vehicle so that she doesn't get drugged away, correct?
Stand up, yes.
Okay. And then he has to close the door, get back in his vehicle, log off his computer, and take off, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And it's your testimony that he does all that within 4 minutes and 33 seconds because that is the most time that we can conceivably find anywhere on the AVL that anything like that could have happened.
Correct.
Correct. And then again, after Ms. Copeland says that this happened, you heard her testify that she walked back to where she says she parked her car on 24th Street, correct?
Correct.
So now, is it your testimony that her car was never parked on 24th Street?
I never said that.
Okay, where's her car parked while all these things are allegedly happening?
She said it was on 24th.
But you know that Officer Holtzclaw was never on 24th. So I'm asking you, as the lead detective in this case, where do we believe the car to be?
I believe her car was parked on 24th.
Okay, so then where did he pick her up?
On Miramar and 24th.
So did she walk down the 3 houses down the street to Miramar so he could pick her up?
That's what I believe.
So you believe that she parked her car in front of her relative's house and that she walked down 3 houses to this police officer that she says had just made her expose herself at 14th and Kellum?
He still had her driver's license. I believe she walked to him.
He still had her driver's license. So after she was required to allegedly expose herself at 14th and Kellum, she thought it was critical to get her driver's license back. Is that what you're telling this jury? So she walked back down to Miramar so she could get into his vehicle alone. That's what you want this jury to believe?
Form of the question.
All right, rephrase your question.
You state that you believe that she did. You state that you believe that she did park in front of her relative's house, and you would agree with me that there's 3 houses away from Miramar to the west, correct?
Correct.
And it's your testimony that since he still had her driver's license, that after she parked there, she decided it was a good idea to walk down the street and get in his car alone.
I don't know that she thought it was a good idea, but he had also told her that she was going to detox. And I believe that she thought she was going to detox.
Okay. Anywhere on the CAD call and whenever Officer Holtzclaw called this matter in, did he say he was taking her to detox?
No.
So you're just taking her at her word at that.
Did you speak, Jack? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I'll repeat it. Line 9. So you're just taking her word at that.
She told me that he told her she was going to detox. Why would you call in going to detox if you're not going to take her to detox?
Did you verify anything that Officer Holtzclaw said to the command or anyone at the Oklahoma City Police Department? Quote, I'm taking this woman to detox, end quote.
He never told anybody that.
No. The only person in the world who's ever said that is Miss Copeland, correct?
Right?
And you would agree with me that on the night that this happened, she was under the influence of alcohol.
Correct.
She also was under the influence of crack cocaine.
Correct.
He also told you that at 14th and Kellum, that not only was he suspicious of her driving, but he found a crack pipe on her.
No.
Do you recall that? Do you recall that?
Hello?
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 I'm hearing Jack, but you're not hearing him. Is everyone else hearing Jack except
I hear
Susan?
Jack. Yeah, I hear Jack.
Maybe you need to jump off and come back on, Susan.
Yeah, I can hear Jack as well. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Susan? Uh-oh.
I don't think she can. I don't think she can hear us at all.
She popped out.
Yeah, this is it's absolutely crazy.
It's nuts. It's absolute nuts. I don't even know how this got to a bloody courtroom in the first place.
I don't, to me, it's Kim and Rocky just took this story and she just made it work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is a good example of Scott Adams getting confused, because he does confuse the crack pipe thing.
Yeah. With Rosetta.
Rosetta, and didn't Carla Johnson have a crack pipe too?
Yes.
Or am I confused?
And allegedly, so did Terry Morris, but we know he was never involved with that.
This is where it would have been so fantastic for, there to have been, at least two of the lawyers, if not three, and they each take a few of these.
Yeah.
It would be so difficult to keep all of it straight.
It
So
really
difficult.
would.
Yeah, it's there she is. There she blows. Can you hear
She
us?
back? Can you hear us now?
Oh,
May take her a minute. It may take her a second. It always takes a second for it to get through to her.
Remember,
Who's
guys,
adult?
she's not very techno.
damn, she can't even hear that.
Playing the role here, acting like she's not very techno.
Yep.
Can y'all hear me now? Huh?
Very techno, but I can take some pictures, by God.
Hi, little Barb. It's great to see you. What a pretty picture.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Susan, can you hear us?
What did
Oh,
she say?
I
I
heard
heard that, Kay, but we can't hear you.
we can't hear you though. Oh, she left again. I heard that, Kay. I heard that, Kay.
Okay. Oh, goodness.
Oh, that's funny stuff. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so I think Scott Adams is doing a good job at at doing this cross-examination, and it's so frustrating because this is the only. Do I like your picture? No, I would actually like to see a picture case, like a real picture of you
Yeah, on the combine. Let's go.
on the combine. Yeah.
Do you like my picture?
Yes, of course I love your picture. Oh, Susan, I hope she can come back.
She's back.
Hello?
She's coming back.
Liam says, but Susan, you have to finish testifying.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Right. We got to get Detective Davis in here now.
Yeah,
Come on.
but I'm not impressed with the purple C. Sorry, Case. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Susan, can you hear us? Oh, man.
May have to try her phone. I don't know if that'll work for her or not.
Yeah.
Should we pick up her part while she's trying to
Yeah,
get
while
back
she's
in?
trying to get back in. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
I can't do as good a job at her as her, but I can do the Blinkwinkles part.
Okay, I'll start on line 4.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Do you recall that?
No, he didn't find a crack pipe on her. I think you might be thinking of Rosetta.
May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
And again, I would just ask that there be no more sidebars whenever there's no question on the floor. I don't think that.
All right. Just answer the questions.
Sorry.
Judge, can I retrieve an exhibit?
Yes.
Detective Davis, whenever you interviewed Miss Copeland back on 10/13 of 14, she told you that at that time of the event that she was an alcoholic and also used crack cocaine and powder cocaine, correct?
Correct.
Now, she also told you, or actually testified under oath previously, that this lasted longer than 4 minutes and 33 seconds, correct?
I know she testified earlier today it lasted approximately 3 minutes.
Do you recall her testifying in the preliminary hearing that the alleged incident that happened on Miramar lasted longer than 4 minutes and 33 seconds?
My objection is improper impeachment as to this witness as to what Miss Copeland might or might not have said at the preliminary hearing.
All right. Sustained.
Do you ever recall Ms. Copeland testifying in this manner that the alleged assault on Miramar lasted 10 minutes?
Same objection, Your Honor. It's an improper impeachment. He hasn't given the witness a chance to admit or deny it.
Overruled as the way you've asked that question.
I don't know what. I do not remember what she said at prelim.
You would agree with me that, in fact, you know that could not happen because there's no zero speeds on Miramar and there's no 10-minute interval in there where there's nothing accounted for, correct?
Correct.
Now, during your conversations with Miss Copeland, did you request or ask her if she had any of the clothing left that she was wearing back in April whenever she had this encounter with Officer Holtzclaw?
I don't remember if I asked that. I may have.
Okay. Since we have zero speeds on either 24th or on Miramar, would it not be more consistent with the fact that Miss Copeland actually left her car at 14th and Kellam, and Officer Holtzclaw took her to the corner of 24th and Miramar and let her out? Would that not be more consistent with the AVL that we have introduced into this case as 410?
No. Why would he do that? She didn't live there.
I'm asking you, is it not more consistent with the evidence that we have at 410 that the vehicle that Miss Copeland was in never left 14th and Kellam? That what happened was that she got into Officer Holtzclaw's car at 14th and Kellam, and he transported her to the residence that he stated on the radio at the corner of 24th and Miramar and let her out, spun around, and went back on duty.
No.
Is that not what more consistent with? Is that not what that's more consistent with?
No.
Okay. And tell us the reasons that is not consistent other than Miss Copeland saying that there was a sexual assault. Tell us what it is on there that shows that this is not consistent.
When, after interviewing Ms. Copeland, I don't know without what happening that she said happening, how would she know that he stopped there for an amount of time And how would she, if he dropped her, if he just stopped there and dropped her off and she walked to wherever she's walking because she doesn't live anywhere around there, how would she know that he sat there for a length of time and then turned around and left? She knew that he never passed 25th Street. How would she know that when AVL shows that he'd never passed 25th Street?
Well, let's just assume that she got out of the car and she saw him turn around going back on duty. Let's assume that.
Assumes facts, not in evidence, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to sustain the objection.
Tell the jury this. You said she lived nowhere around there. I thought she had just testified, and you just testified, the exhibit we kept looking at was a house of a relative where she was staying back on the 25th day of April 2014. Is that not true?
Assumes facts, not in evidence, Your Honor. She never said she was staying there or living there. She said she spent the night there once or twice.
All right, you can answer the question.
No. When this assault occurred, she stated she lived in the apartments at 23rd and Meridian. That was just a relative's house.
That was a relative's house that she said that she drove to that night, correct?
Where she left the car.
Where she's saying she left her car, correct?
Correct.
But you have no evidence whatsoever, period, that she actually drove her car and left it in front of that residence, do you?
No, but you were saying that she lived there, but
Yeah, approach, Your Honor.
she didn't live there.
You may approach.
It was her testimony that she drove her car from 14th and Callum to this residence right here and parked it in front of the street, correct?
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
All right, sustained.
Okay, would you agree with me that all of the AVL evidence is consistent that Officer Holtzclaw did transport her to 24th and Miramar, where this residence is located, and simply dropped her off? Because you interviewed a number of people trying to find anyone who saw her car in front of that residence, correct?
I interviewed one person.
And no one saw her car on the day in question in front of that residence, did they?
No.
Okay. So you have nothing other than her word to say that she actually drove and parked her car there, correct?
Correct.
Now, however, when we look at 410, you would agree with me that since we're getting zero hits, we know for a fact that Officer Holtzclaw was not stopped around that house for more than 5 minutes, correct?
Correct.
So under the scenario of events, is it not more consistent that with what happened is that she was transported from 14th and Kellum down to her relative's house or right around by it, let out while Officer Holtzclaw went back on duty?
It's been asked and answered, Your Honor.
All right, sustained.
Would you not also agree with me that the CAD call, that Officer Holtzclaw is responsible for the information in the CAD call?
No.
Okay. He has to initiate it a CAD call is never made if he doesn't start one, correct?
Right. But all the stuff that prints out on it is not his responsibilities. That's the dispatcher's.
And I agree with that. But to even get those little printouts that we're introducing into exhibits here, it has to be Officer Holtzclaw in this instance that generates that CAD call, makes it happen.
Right.
And whenever he generated that CAD call, he told the dispatcher, I have one and I'm transporting, correct?
He didn't say that. He said he was 1014.
He said 1014. What that means?
That means I'm transporting, escorting. We use that 10 code for a couple of things. Transporting, following, escorting. It could be a couple of things.
Okay. So
wait a minute. Sorry, Jack. Wait a minute. Before she said that it wasn't him following her, If he was transporting, then it would be transporting. So make up your mind, Hen. What is it?
Again, it's like I said, they just made it work. That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all fairness to this, I hate to ever be on their side at all, because this bugged the crap out of me the first time I heard it. I thought they were making this crap up. But Eric Holtzclaw says, in fact, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
that doesn't really
they are
shock me.
using it for their purpose. But
Sure.
it is true that they use the 1014 code, even if they're escorting or following. It's not always transporting. So
Yeah.
I really thought that was not going to be true.
I remember we were like chomping at the bit to find this to be a big lie, and it turned out that
And then it wasn't, and it was so
Yeah.
deflating.
Yeah. It was like,
Well,
son of a bitch.
honestly, you would think that they would literally have a different 10 code for transporting versus escorting or following.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, worry about the details, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is Susan back with us?
She says she can hear us, but we can't hear her.
Aw, Susan.
Yeah, but she's just put in chat that weird. My mic shows it's working.
Huh.
Oh, we can't hear you, sis. Sorry.
All right. Line 23. I'm sorry, line 22. Okay, so in the CAD call that Officer Holtzclaw generated, he admits that he is with Miss Copeland, correct?
With somebody.
Well, he gives them every identifier, does he not?
Not to the CAD call. That's to crime information.
He tells them where he's going, does he not?
Yes, he does.
And where does he tell them he's going?
The area of 23rd and Miramar. I'll give you a location an exact location when I'm there. Then 2425 Northeast 24th.
Okay, he says he's going to 23rd Miramar, correct?
Yes.
Does he get to 23 in Miramar?
Yes.
Okay, so he does go do 23rd and Miramar.
Yes.
But when he gets to that location that he's talking about, what specific location does he give them?
24th, 25th, Northeast 24th.
Okay, and is that something that he would be getting off his car GPS in his car or his computer?
More than likely, he saw it on the house address, is what I would think.
Whatever it is, he's the one that tells them where he is, correct?
Correct?
Officer Holtzclaw is.
Yes.
Now, you also testified whenever the animation was going on that there was a bleep on Miramar. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you said that where this blip was on Miramar, you believe that's when he picked her up, and you testified to your examination or under cross-examination that you believe that that's when she walked down the street and got in his vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You would agree with me that Miss Copeland never told you anything like that, correct?
Correct.
And you'd agree with me that she's never testified to anything like that, correct?
Correct.
That's just you speculating. That's what you believe happened, correct?
Correct.
Pass the witness off with pleasure, Your Honor. You can have her.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before we get involved in any conversation and perhaps mildly forget some things, I want to play this little video that I made. Well, it's just a few clips of Regina Copeland in her deposition after all the trial is said and done. No more Pre-Lim, no more trial testimony, no more police report. This is what she says about certain points in her deposition.
So this
know-
deposition was taken in preparation for the civil suit that filed against Daniel, the city of Oklahoma City, Rocky Gregory, Chief Bill City, some other, I can't remember, Bennett or whatever, someone who really wasn't even involved in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these are from when, Rhonda? Like
This
as early
one,
as 2018?
yeah, this one happened to be, I think, in 21. It'll say on the bottom of the video. And just so that you can see that it's a deposition video, I did include the swearing in. But other than that, there's just a few clips.
Try to pick out the inconsistencies from what you've heard from her prelim testimony and her
Oh,
trial
my God.
testimony.
Now my blood
too.
now my blood pressure is really going to go up.
Yeah, just try to pick it
Possibly.
out.
Okay. Let me do that.
Okay, good afternoon. We are on the record. Would the court reporter please swear in the witness?
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
On or about 2014, when you were assaulted by Mr. Holtzclaw,
Yes.
how would you describe your substance abuse or substance addiction at that time?
It wasn't something that I did on a daily basis. When I was stopped by him, I didn't have any drugs on me at the time, and I wasn't using any drugs at the time.
Okay. Now, when you say you weren't using drugs at the time, are you talking about that day or in that general time period?
In that time period.
Okay. Now, other than alcohol, on the day that you were stopped by Officer Holtzclaw, had you used any drugs?
At that time, no. I don't think.
Not on that day?
I don't.
What about the day before?
I can't remember. Alcohol is my drug of choice.
Were you also using cocaine at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What type of cocaine would you use?
I was smoke crack cocaine or snorting cocaine.
Okay. Snorting powder cocaine
Powder or smoking it.
or smoking crack?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that something you did every day?
No, sir.
Okay.
I had a job, I had an apartment, I had a car. It's not something that I would do every day. I wasn't known as a crackhead.
What was your job? How were you employed?
At the time that happened, I had been not working for a month, about a month.
How much time went by, would you estimate, from the time of the traffic stop to the time that he directed you into the back of the cruiser?
I don't know. From the time he stopped, from the time he searched my car, from the time he told me to pull my pants down, maybe 35 to 40 minutes, I don't know. Because he called in my driver's license, so that takes time, so maybe, I don't know.
to you, it felt like 35 to 40 minutes?
Yes, that's what I would think.
Okay.
The officer
Okay.
got out of his patrol car, directed me into the back seat of his patrol car.
Okay. And you complied with that, as you've already said, correct?
Yes.
What happened then?
He drove around the corner and he parked on that street that you just said, Miramar Street. He parked on that street. And he parked his patrol car like on the grass. And as I recall, it was dark at this time. It was dark. And he parked his patrol car. And at this time, I was very afraid. I didn't know why he was parking his car there. And I can remember him having my driver's license. And also, he took my keys. And he pulled on that street facing toward 23rd Street and Miramar Street and told me to get out of the patrol car. He took me a few, which is the next block over from Tammy's house. He did a U-turn and he went around. The way he turned, his patrol car ended up parking, facing, his patrol car ended up facing 23rd and Miramar Street. And I was looking, and like I said, I can remember seeing some yellow buses. And he took my driver's license, he had my driver's license, and he had my car keys. That's when he raped me. And as I can recall, I felt like he released himself, and he pulled his clothes back, his pants back up, and my clothes were, I was putting my clothes back up, and I can remember him letting me go. And I was asking him for my keys and my driver's license. I can remember that. And he threw them out on the ground, and it was dark. And I was looking for my keys and my driver's license on the ground. I did not I don't believe I went into my cousin's house. After I found my keys on the ground, looking around in the grass, I did not go home to my apartment. I went to my brother's house on the southwest side, and I stayed there. And I told him what happened.
What was the name of the person you told what happened?
John Copeland.
Okay.
My brother.
So John was the first person you told about this incident?
Yes.
I want to kind of go back a little bit to when you parked your car at Tammy's house to secure it. Did the officer, he followed you in his patrol car, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did he park his patrol car and wait for you to lock your car? He parked behind you?
When I looked over, he was right on the same street. He was right there. When I got out of my car, he was standing outside of the patrol car, and he got out and directed me into the back seat.
Okay. So his patrol car was stopped. He was out of it, and then he opened up the back door to direct you into the back seat.
Yes, I just didn't walk over to the police car and say, let me in. I didn't do that.
Well, what did she say? What did Detective Davis tell you?
I think that's what was her name. She told me.
You're correct. Her name is Kim Davis.
Okay. She told me that they knew about what had happened to me and that I needed to testify. And I told her that I wasn't going to testify. And she said she would subpoena me to testify because I just wanted it to be over with.
Did Detective Davis, what was your understanding of what she wanted from you?
She wanted to know what happened, you know.
Okay. This is during the phone call?
You know, she made a visit. Her and the other detective made a visit to Texas to talk to me in person.
Okay. So the two detectives came down there, and what did they tell you?
They didn't tell me anything. They just wanted me to tell them what happened.
Yeah. Were you surprised that they knew about this incident?
Yeah.
I mean, you hadn't told anyone other than the four people you mentioned, correct?
Right. But I was smart enough to figure out how they knew because he called my name in to the police department. And at this time, they were on to him. So they knew what happened.
Is that information that you acquired yourself, or is that what the detectives told you?
They didn't tell me that. They didn't tell me that.
Okay. Did they ever say?
I tried to figure out how did they know, but you know, how could they know? They had to when he called my name in, you know, and they knew every place that I told him where I was, they could figure that out, where he went in his patrol car. So that's how they knew I was telling the truth, because I told them everywhere where he had taken me.
And is your understanding that the movements of police patrol cars can be tracked? Is that what you were talking about just a minute ago?
Yes.
Are you aware of any reason why the movements of the patrol car would conflict with anything you've said about what happened?
I'm aware that I can't remember every detail of everything that the patrol car moved, but I know exactly what happened, and I know the area that I was in. So I know, like I said before, which direction I went. I told the detectives the same thing of where he took me and what happened.
Okay. Now, when Detective Davis called you on the phone, you had asked the officer his name and he wouldn't tell you. Did she tell you his name?
No.
When was the first time you heard the name Daniel Holtzclaw? Like the officer identified by name?
2014, I believe.
And what were those circumstances? How did you hear his actual name?
When I went to court.
When you saw him in court?
Yes.
Do you recall how long that was after the assault?
I can't recall. I just think it was some months. Yes.
Do you recall testifying in the criminal case against Daniel Holtzclaw in Oklahoma City?
Yes, sir.
You testified at his trial, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And thinking over that, is there anything about your testimony that you think is inaccurate or maybe you shouldn't have said? anything you would change?
The only thing that I wouldn't change of what I said. The only thing is I can't remember everything that happened. I can't remember all the dates and times and everything, because that's something that I can't remember. You know, I can't remember if I was working. It's like if I said I was working, I would know I was working. Certain things that I can't remember being if I said what I said, about. But as far as me telling the truth, that's what had happened. I know that's what happened. But remembering dates and times and all of that, I don't know the correct times and if it was dark. I can't remember all of that.
So, one big lie after another. There.
Wow. Never heard anything about no keys until now.
Well, the keys are a pretty big deal. It's not part of the transcript that I used, but the key, every single time the keys get talked about, it's a different story, literally every single time. And so that's fine, Alice. I know it's really late for you, and so I appreciate you helping us out and being such a good sport. So if you need to go, we completely understand. So yeah, it's but the story about the keys is just a fantasy. Like, and she says here in this video, and it's another part, well, it's in the police report, but I don't expect you to remember the police report necessarily from last week, but she said in the police report that after the alleged rape occurred, she went to a friend's house to drink on 10th and Lottie. But here in her deposition, she claims that she went right to her
brother's house. Yep,
but
and told him about it.
Keys. So, and it's very, very twisted in all the different places about the keys. It's a different story in the police report. It's a different story in the prelim. It's a different story in trial, and a different story in the deposition.
And the interviews of her family members that got interviewed by Davis. It seems like a couple of those talk about the keys as well.
Yeah.
And her car.
Yeah.
I think you said it, one big lie after another. It's just never ending.
It really was just one big lie after another. And so it's frustrating to sit and watch her. And I'm trying to look back here on a question that I think case right here, case 10 said, is she high? It's funny that you said that. And I wasn't going to say anything because I just thought it was just me. But when I was watching this, deciding where I was going to make all the cuts and clips, in the beginning, she's much different. She's more I don't want to say upbeat, but more alert. She's speaking clearly. She's looking in the camera, and she just sounds like she's speaking normal. And then they took a break, and she started crying at some point, and it was a little more than an hour in. They took a break, and they came back. And when they came back, she was jacked up, like
cranked up.
I don't see crank. I don't see
it wasn't
cranked up.
crank. It was more like Xannies or something.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like
crank down, Jack.
Yeah, crank down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, her eyes were all,
I can tell her eyes.
Huh?
I felt like I couldn't see her eyes well enough to see, but just exactly what you said about her whole
Yeah.
cadence.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
just
Cadence. That's
she
a good word.
started out, you know, with a lot of anxiety, it felt like, and then she seems to be medicated to,
Yeah.
to calm down.
Calm down. And that could have been all it was, but she was slurring her words a lot more and not able to make a complete sentence. And she definitely had taken something. And whether it was recreational or not, I mean, who can say, but
I'd want
um,
to take a Xanax if I had to do a deposition.
yeah, me too. So anyway, gosh, I really wanted this to not be quite this long at all. I was hoping that it was all prepared well enough to,
It
um,
was.
it was
Yeah.
prepared well, but
It was
it
just
just,
a lot. We covered a
yeah,
lot, and it
yeah,
was really good.
yeah. So, next, Susan, can you not hear us still?
She can hear us, but we
Oh,
can't
we
hear
can't hear
her.
her.
We can't hear
Oh,
her. She
hey,
broke her
Catnit. Great to see
reading
you.
all that reading blinker stuff. It broke her microphone.
It broke her. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, no kidding. And there was no way I could do justice to Susan's accent, so we definitely missed it. Um, but I just want to say really quick before we go, next week we are going to start on Liam.
I saw
Broken.
that.
You are super late, Cat. We're just about done. About ready to wrap her up. But we're going to start next week on Adara Gardner. This will be
Oh,
wild. I know
oh
I
boy.
promised wild crazy and exciting for tonight's, but once we get started on T1, God,
It could take
Depo
3
drunk.
weeks to do her,
it could take us probably 3 weeks to do Adara's.
and they would probably be long episodes
And
too.
yeah, they're going to be long
That's a
episodes
lot.
because hers is. T1 says, "Friends don't let friends depo drunk."
Friends don't let friends depot sober.
Sober, yeah. Oh gosh, you guys are funny. But yeah, Adara's is a very complex case. And just so in case you're not aware, any DNA that was had in this case is said to have come from Adara Gardner. And she is the only minor in the case. She was 17. And the most controversial. Well, how can you say that? Because it's all controversial because they're all lies. But
Well, I mean, she was a minor, so
she was a
it's
minor, which
outrageous
yeah,
allegations. It's a horrible thing
yeah,
to be accused of.
yes,
Um,
yes.
it's
Being accused of sexually assaulting a minor is,
and it's horrible how the police used her
yeah,
for that outrage. I mean, like she didn't have enough problems already trying to, you
yeah,
know, get her hormones in check and get her mental health issues in check or whatever she said she had.
yeah.
Um,
And drugs. She was an addict.
yeah. I mean, a lot of things, a lot of like back and forth to the parents. Just, I'm sorry that
Yeah,
all the things they say Daniel did to these accusers as far as using them because of their situation in life. It's such a pisser because that's exactly what the detectives did to these women.
yeah.
And it
So
sucks.
We'll yeah, exactly. So we'll start out like we did with we're going to start with the police report. There is a I believe there is a blurred out video interview, possibly. I'm not really sure, to be honest now. I'll have to go and look.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know that K.Davis claims there's a video, but I've never seen one.
I don't think they would have released it because she was a minor.
A
So if there
minor.
was one,
Yeah, it wasn't
but
released.
we need to check that.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is, because I remember going through everything that Bates put out as far as videos, not like on his podcast, because he hasn't covered her yet, but on all of his other videos of interviews, accuser videos, there wasn't one for her. So, but there is a police report, and so we'll go over that for sure. And it's going to be it's pretty nasty. The descriptions of what she claims happened are really, really vulgar. So there's going to be more of that, just a warning. And so we're going to start that on Thursday next week. And like Kay said, it very likely will take us 3 episodes to do this one. Because it's a lot of information. So anyway, so hopefully this was interesting. You hopefully, learned something or picked up on the lies and inconsistencies between everybody involved.
I can tell you I did, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I did. So I don't ever like to let a question go. Did Daniel have any evidence showing he had previous knowledge of the alleged victims' lifestyles? The only thing that Daniel had was whatever crimes may have, or arrests and things like that might have come up in the CIU, in the crime, the crime,
In the Varuna.
Varuna.
He used Varuna for that, to like study people that he came into contact with, because if other officers had contact with someone, you would expect to find their notes about the person in Varuna.
Yeah.
So they really trashed him for running all Varuna on all these women and using that tool when it's exactly what it's designed for.
Yeah.
So, did he have any evidence showing he had previous knowledge of their lifestyle? I think he was tuned into the neighborhood, and he was specifically watching certain drug houses and who was coming and going from those houses. Tabitha Barnes being one of those houses.
Yeah.
But I think that's the extent of it, T1.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as if it was something that involved any kind of police activity that had been reported into Varuna, then yes, he would have seen that. But as far as their lifestyle and their upbringing and their childhood, or their, things like that,
Yeah.
that he wouldn't have that information. Only criminal stuff.
And specifically prostitution things, like if he ran their name through Varuna, searched him in Varuna, and he would have known right away that Rosetta Great was a known prostitute and still prostituting at that time. Now, some of the other women, like Sherry Ellis, said that she had prostituted before, but she had been to prison and just gotten out of prison. And so I don't think she was doing that anymore.
Yeah, I think the
From what we could
prostitution
tell.
it looked like there was only one prostitution thing, if I recall looking into her.
And that was a while back.
And that had been years and years prior.
But I think she went to prison for something with a firearm. Was it robbery or I can't remember.
I know she. Oh gosh, it's so hard to remember all their crimes. And robbery, breaking a B&E with the yeah, B&E,
Something with a firearm.
aggravated
Anyway.
B&E or something. Yeah. Um,
Is there a blurry video of the traffic stop of Regina and her car is left by the roadside, or is that a different stop with 1014? The only video that exists is the initial traffic stop of Daniel with Janie Liggins, the after hours traffic stop where he had turned his computer off and was on his way home. There is a grainy, blurry video showing that stop starting at 202. And what did it go to, Rhonda? 214?
Yeah, it was like less than
11 minutes.
It was only like 13 minutes long.
I think Bates had it 11 minutes, but
maybe it was 11. It could have been 11. So that is out there. You can find that on YouTube under Bates Investigates on YouTube. It's on there.
I think it's also on Daniel Holtzclaw YouTube channel.
Yep, it is on Daniel Holtzclaw YouTube channel.
It's definitely on Bates.
Yeah, definitely in Bates's
YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. Even the minor, the only thing he had T1 on the minor on Adara was just she came back clear. I don't remember. Well, there's a story to that. We'll go into that. We'll probably go into that next week because it's pretty. But there was no prostitution or anything like that. Adara had different issues with the law. So
not that she didn't prostitute, because she did, but yeah, Rhonda's right. That wasn't what that day was about.
No. But all law enforcement officers had access to that knowledge. Yes. Yeah. That's what that was.
That's why they ran that query when they decided, we need to find some women who he did this to, because he's a serial rapist.
Yeah.
And all their query was Black women that had a criminal history, prostitution.
Yeah. Being
arrested for prostitution.
Drug histories and prostitution, mental health issues. Yeah, Timothy Musney, the lieutenant of the Jew detectives, he's the one who selected the demographics for these accusers. And it really pisses me off when I see the guilters say things like, and notice he was choosing only Black women who had drug histories, and no. And I tell him, no, he didn't choose anyone. The Lieutenant Timothy Musney is the one who selected the demographics for who these accusers were going to be. So anyway, so this will be a while to get through Adara's because it's pretty rough and there's a lot of information to it. So I look forward to getting that, with Kay and Cherie, getting all that put together. And I'm pretty sure that I will, we'll have this Jack and Susan and Alice back to read with us again, and Cherie will probably be able to help next time too. And look in the description. I'm pretty sure Catnit will be adding some links and stuff to the description. Also, Catnit or somebody, there are a couple of shorts available on Daniel on my channel. And my manager is working on those. And so, check it out. My manager's, there's Cherie. Hey, Cherie. My manager is also working on playlists and trying to get timestamps in different videos so that you can search out certain things in videos that you want to see or hear or whatever. If you want to get past all the yakking in the beginning or whatever, she's been working on timestamps for different videos too. So you know, make sure you come with a bag of popcorn and a soda or beer or whatever you need for next week, because we're going to start a pretty detailed and involved accuser. So thank you so much to everybody in the chat for the comments, the questions, your interest, your, you know, staying and listening for so long. And thank you to everyone on the panel for helping us out. Oh, look at Cherie. She says, Robert Gray cross-examined Regina and Florine Mathis in preliminary and Terry at trial. Really? He cross-examined Terry Morris? We knew, Kay and I knew you were going to know the answer to that, Cherie. You knew that. So, but thank you to Jack and Susan and Kay and Alice for reading. And until next week, we are going to check out, and please share these videos, share the channel so that we can get more awareness. It's happening. So just help out, and thank you to all of you new ones that have been here checking out the case for the first time. It's a big deal. So it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to Daniel. So until next time, peace out.
Good night.